Chapter 605. Shengguan Dihui's Honesty, Extremely Defensive. _5. The village chief said with relief, "If you all think this way, then I am much more at ease." In the Ni family home. After Ni Yang came back from town, she took a spray can and began watering the plants in the courtyard of the new house. While filling the watering can, she revealed a slender and fair wrist. A translucent jade bracelet on her wrist shone brightly under the sun. Ni Tsuehua curiously asked, "Yang, when did you buy this bracelet? It's so beautiful." Ni Yang was taken aback for a moment, then she said, "I forgot to tell you, this bracelet was given to me by Grandma Lu." Ni Tsuehua seemed very surprised. "This bracelet looks like it's worth a lot. How could you accept such a valuable gift from Grandma Lu?" Grandma Lu is a lonely old woman living a difficult life. This bracelet might be the most valuable thing she has. Ni Yang explained the situation to Ni Tsuehua. After understanding the ins and outs of the matter, Ni Tsuehua nodded. "Since this is a token of affection from Grandma Lu, then you should cherish it. Grandma Lu is alone, so we have to be kind to her in the future." Ni Tsuehua has never been one to take advantage of others. Now that the bracelet couldn't be removed, all she could do was to treat Grandma Lu even better. "Yes, Mom, I understand." Ni Yang continued, "Oh, Mom, I have something to do tonight. I might have to go out later." Ni Tsuehua looked a bit perplexed. "Going out? It's almost 6 o'clock. Where are you going?" "To town." Ni Yang answered. "Do you want me to accompany you? It's already very late." Ni Tsuehua seemed a bit worried. "You don't have to." Ni Yang shook her head. "I can manage on my own." "All right then." Ni Tsuehua proceeded. "Remember to come home early. Today is the 9th of the lunar month September. If Ni Yang remembers correctly, today is the day when the master's eldest apprentice had an accident. Although the master and his wife practice traditional Chinese medicine, they still have an willful son who is fond of the martial arts. Big brother succumbed to his death while working as a bodyguard for a wealthy person in a confrontation with a gangster. In Ni Yang's memory, these incidents were quite serious. 2 people died then, one being Big Brother and the other being his employer. In the dim night, Ni Yang was biking along the road. "Stop the car." Zheng Xianjing, who was in the back seat, suddenly told the driver to stop. Upon hearing this, the driver immediately halted the car. "I have something to handle, you go back first." Zheng Xianjing picked up the beige coat on the back seat, got out of the car, and looked back at the driver. "Sure, miss," the driver nodded. Zheng Xianjing asked the driver to stop because she saw Mo Baichuan. Having recognized Mo Baichuan as Mr. Mog, she would not miss any opportunity to interact with Mo Baichuan. "Brother Baichuan." Zheng Xianjing approached him and held Mo Baichuan's arm. "Xianjing." Mo Baichuan's gaze shifted from the figure at the end of the street. Zheng Xianjing squinted slightly and involuntarily looked in that direction. Upon looking, her pupils contracted slightly. "It's her, Tai Yang, the same girl whose hair the dead wife had used for identification." Zheng Xianjing hid her appearance well and asked softly, "Brother Baichuan, what are you doing here so late?" "He's waiting for me." Just then, another woman's voice appeared in the air. When Zheng Xianjing looked up, she saw a confident woman with heavy makeup. "Zhao Jingrong. Why is Zhao Jingrong here too?" Zheng Xianjing suddenly had a bad feeling. "Miss Zhao?" With a high-handed attitude, Zhao Jingrong pulled Zheng Xianjing's hand off Mo Baichuan's arm, put her own arm around Mo Baichuan's, and smiled a winner's smile. "Baichuan, didn't you introduce Miss Zheng to me?" Mo Baichuan looked at Zheng Xianjing and said, "This is my girlfriend, Zhao Jingrong." What? What did she just hear?" Zheng Xianjing's face instantly turned pale. Zhao Jingrong is actually with Mo Baichuan. What the hell is going on? Compared to the slightly tainted Sun Dalian, Zhao Jingrong is much harder to deal with. After all, Zhao Jingrong is a legitimate high-class lady. "Brother Baichuan, how could you be with her?" Zhao Jingrong gave a slight smile. "Excuse me, Miss Zheng, why can't I be with Baichuan?" "Brother Baichuan." Zheng Xianjing looked at Zhao Jingrong. "Miss Zhao was once engaged to Uncle Mo. She almost became your aunt. How could you possibly be with her? Besides herself, Zheng Xianjing can't accept anyone being with Mo Baichuan. How can it be like this? She went through such great lengths and even spent 30,000 yuan, only to end up benefiting Zhao Jingrong. How can Zheng Xianjing accept this? Zhao Jingrong laughed. Miss Zheng, your thinking is quite old-fashioned. The Zheng family is not without resources. Why don't they expose Miss Zheng to the world outside? As you said, I was once engaged to Mo Qishan. Since the engagement was terminated, naturally, men and women can marry whoever they wish. Do I need to inform you, Miss Zheng, who I choose to be with? Or are you saying, Miss Zheng, you have inappropriate thoughts about other people's boyfriends? Zhao Jingrong's last sentence was laced with a mocking smile. She's not easily messed with. It won't be so easy for Zheng Xianjing to try to steal Mo Baichuan from her. Zheng Xianjing's face turned from white to red. She turned her head to look at Mo Baichuan. Brother Baichuan, what the hell is going on? Grandma and Grandpa Mo would never approve of you two being together. That's none of your concern. Mo Baichuan broke his silence. He wants to be with Zhao Jingrong. If Mo Qishan can be with Ni Yang, then why can't he be with Zhao Jingrong? Didn't Ni Yang say that she and Mo Qishan truly love each other? He wants to see how long those two can keep up their act. Zheng Xianjing was almost dying of rage. Brother Baichuan, how can you be like this? This is wrong. Baichuan, let's go. Zhao Jingrong looked at Mo Baichuan. Okay. Mo Baichuan nodded. Brother Baichuan. Zheng Xianjing reluctantly clung to Mo Baichuan's clothes. Zhao Jingrong turned around and pried Zheng Xianjing's hands off finger by finger. Miss Zheng, if you still have some dignity left, stop making a spectacle of yourself. Even if you don't care about your reputation, Madame Zheng still does. Zheng Xianjing was shivering with so much anger that she could only watch Zhao Jingrong lead Mo Baichuan away. She absolutely cannot lose to Zhao Jingrong. Zheng Xianjing looked at the retreating figures of Zhao Jingrong, her eyes like venom. The nights in September are already a bit chilly, particularly at nightfall. Ni Yang tightened her beige coat as she walked toward the alley up ahead. The silver-white moonlight dusted her body with a layer of radiance. The alley was silent, without even the sound of insects. Ni Yang had already been waiting here for a long time, but there was still no one in sight. Just as she was about to wonder if she had gotten the date wrong, the sound of hurried footsteps echoed in the alley. Thump, thump, thump. Ni Yang looked up and saw two men in suits rushing towards her. There were no lamps in the alley, but with the help of the moonlight and her exceptional senses, she instantly identified the two figures as the eldest marshal brother and his employer. Listening to their breaths, one of them was injured. Ni Yang's eyebrows furrowed as she walked briskly forward, removing her obstructive coat as she went. For easier fighting, she hadn't worn a cheongsam today, opting instead for a simple outfit of a white knit top, black trousers, and white sneakers. Smack! She tossed her coat aside, fearlessly moving forward. A breeze stirred her long, elegant hair, and as she passed the two men she whisperingly commanded, "Hurry and run ahead. Don't look back, just leave the rest to me." Chapter 606, A Night of Terror, Snatched from the Jaws of Death, Second Update, _1 Ni Yang's words had just fallen when one of them noticeably hesitated, raising his head to look at Ni Yang. His eyes were sharp as a sword, making it somewhat hard to breathe. In the moonlight, you could vaguely see a pale face. Ni Yang lightly raised her eyebrows. In her past life, she had seen a photo of her senior marshal brother. This man was not him. At this moment, a thug armed with a steel pipe suddenly rushed towards them. Under the moonlight, the steel pipe glinted frostily. If one were hit in the head with it, their brains would scatter all over the place. They would be killed on the spot. Ni Yang didn't give the thug a single glance before she suddenly kicked up, hitting the thug's jaw. Bang! The thug's figure instantly fell to the ground, his steel pipe flung into the air by the ruthless force. Ni Yang, seemingly devoid of any thought, casually reached out and accurately caught the steel pipe that was falling from midair. Her actions were incredibly cool. With her back to the moonlight, holding a steel pipe, standing against the light, her silhouette slender, The moonlight draped a layer of purity over her body. She had a strong yet chilling aura about her. Her face was not clearly visible, but people didn't dare to look straight at her. They were awestruck with fear. After that man took a glance at Yang, he quickly averted his eyes and said to the person beside him, "We should leave, quickly." The weakness that he was unable to conceal lingered in his gentle voice. It seemed like he could fall down at any moment. "Okay." The other man nodded, helping the man as they quickly ran towards the alley entrance. At this point, Yang took out a bottle of pills she had on her, and without looking back, she threw it behind her. "Take this with you." The small bottle of pills accurately landed in one man's jacket pocket. The man was slightly stunned, but he didn't stick around. He ran off immediately without looking back. When the thugs saw the men run off, they wanted to give chase, but upon seeing Yang armed with the steel pipe, they hesitated. As they exchanged glances, they saw fear in each other's eyes and nobody dared to pursue them. Just then, a bulky man in his prime forcefully shoved his way through from the back. "Go! What are you all waiting around for? We have so many people, are we scared of a single girl?" Inspired by these words, everyone mustered up some courage to charge along behind the bulky man. Of course, even with all their numbers, would they be afraid of a single girl? Yang revealed a faint smile. She swung the steel pipe in her hand and simultaneously performed a flawless backspin kick. Her moves were relentless, giving the thug no chance to hesitate. Bang! 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 One by one, the thugs fell to the ground. The remaining people didn't dare to rush forward. They looked at the hefty man and said, "Brother Biao, what do we do?" As Brother Biao got up from the ground, he glanced at the end of the alleyway and then back at Yang. He wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, then bitterly said, "Let's go." Immediately, everyone stumbled to their feet. All the while keeping their gaze on Yang, they retreated before ultimately fleeing in a cloud of dust. It's not wise to chase an adversary when he's at the end of his rope. Moreover, these people are real desperados. It's highly likely there are more people backing them up. Yang is alone and outnumbered. If she carelessly pursued them, she might end up in mortal danger. Now she just needs to ensure that her senior martial brother and his employer are safe. Yang picked up the coat on the ground and casually put it on. She walked back unhurriedly. The moonlight cast her long shadow on the ground. A black business car was parked outside. You couldn't see the inside of the business car from outside, nor could you hear any noise. The man lying on the plush leather sofa in the back seat was skinny and pale, with a noticeable bleeding wound on his waist. The middle-aged doctor was kneeling beside the man, frowning and saying, "Mr. Dusk's condition is very serious at the moment. He needs immediate treatment." Hearing this, a tall man with a bronze complexion wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and angrily yelled, "Well then, what are you standing around for? Save Mr. Du now." The driver in the front seat immediately started the engine, hurriedly heading towards the hospital. The doctor continued, "The hospital is 23 kilometers from here, and I'm not sure if Mr. Du can last that long." "Damn." The man was furious, grabbing the doctor by the neck. "What use are you then, if Mr. Du keeps you around?" The doctor's face instantly turned pale. Someone immediately interceded for the doctor. "Brother Wang, calm down. Having a doctor is still better than not having one, considering the hospital is so far away." Right. The doctor immediately chimed in. "I can still perform emergency medical treatments for Mr. Du." Only then did Wang Ziki release the doctor. "If anything happens to Mr. Du, you're going down with him." The doctor was frightened, cold sweat was pouring from him, and even his hands were shaking. At this moment, Wang Ziki looked as if he remembered something and squinted. "What did you say you didn't have?" No, medicine," the doctor gulped down. "Could you use this?" Wang Ziki pulled out a blue porcelain bottle from his pocket and threw it in front of the doctor. The doctor took the porcelain bottle, opened the lid and smelled it, his face lighting up. "It's Ninglu pill. Sir Du can be saved." With a squint, Wang Ziki asked, "Are you certain Sir Du can use this medicine?" Wang Ziki did not know Yang. Therefore, he did not trust her completely. He dared not rashly use the medicine she gave to Sir Du. What if she was a mole sent by their rivals? Unexpectedly, the medicine she gave really worked. Who really is she? The doctor nodded, confidently stating, "Yes, I am certain. Ninglu pills have cooling, detoxifying and blood-stopping effects. It perfectly matches Sir Dust's symptoms." Still unsure, Wang Ziki poured a pill from the bottle and handed it to the doctor. "You eat one first." The doctor hesitated. "This Ninglu pill is very precious, priceless. There are only 2 left in this bottle. Physician's kindness. To those without illness, this pill is not even as good as a sugar pill. But in front of those suffering from severe diseases, it could save lives. If I tell you to eat it, just eat." Wang Ziki forcibly opened the doctor's mouth and stuffed the Ninglu pill in it. Feeling helpless, the doctor swallowed the pill. Seeing that the doctor swallowed the pill without any reaction, Wang Ziki felt relieved, and then let Sir Du swallow the remaining pill. The effect of the Ninglu pill was very good. After Sir Du swallowed it, the blood from his waist slowly stopped. The doctor started some emergency measures, and in a little while, Sir Du opened his eyes. "Ziki." Sir Du looked at Wang Ziki. "Sir Du." Wang Ziki immediately propped up Sir Du, looking around at the environment and pinching his temples. Sir Du asked, "Was that person arranged by you?" "No." Wang Ziki shook his head. "I didn't expect those bastards would dare to make a move on you. This is not the way home." Sir Du looked out the window. Wang Ziki continued, "You are severely injured. We are going to the hospital now. Go back." "What?" Wang Ziki paused. Still a bit weak, Sir Du leaned against the car door. "Find her." "Who?" Wang Ziki asked, confused. Sir Du squinted his eyes, responded lazily, "The person who saved me tonight." "That person?" Sir Du interrupted Wang Ziki. "Don't worry, she's not from there." Wang Ziki squinted. "But, don't you think her appearance was too coincidental? They had encountered danger, and she was just there. In the middle of the night, a young girl. How could she possibly be at such a place? It was clearly a well-prepared move. Her motives are not pure. I've met countless people in my life. She is indeed not simple, but she is not our enemy." After saying this, Sir Du looked towards the driver's seat. "Xiaohu, make a U-turn." "Yes." Xiaohu immediately turned around at the next intersection. Screech. With a harsh brake sound, the car stopped at the entrance of the alley. As it happened, a figure in a beige coat walked past the car. Her hanging black hair covered her features. Sir Dust's pupils narrowed as he slowly straightened up. "Help me out of the car." Wang Ziki immediately assisted Sir Du out of the car. As soon as they got out of the car, the figure got into a black sedan, and its taillights quickly disappeared into the dark night. "Check whose car that is." Sir Du turned to Wang Ziki. "All right." Wang Ziki nodded as he looked in the direction where the taillights disappeared. Chapter 607. Not the ordinary grandfather, Shangguan Dehui, who proposed. _1 Cgeo City isn't particularly large, but it isn't small either. If you're aiming to find out who owns a specific vehicle in just a fleeting glance, you wouldn't find it easy at all. Wang Ziki followed up, saying, "Leave the search to me. Master Du, you're still injured. How about we go back first?" This Master Du was not just any other master. He came from Shanghai. His father was once the big shot in the famed foreign concessions there, so intimidating that even the military officials of that time didn't dare to provoke him. This Master Du also inherited his father's cold-bloodedness and ruthlessness. But sadly, all good things must come to an end. He was born sick and frail. His health wasn't good, and even the doctors predicted he wouldn't live past 18. Against all odds, he survived past his 18th birthday and is now 30 years old. A wandering monk said that he must stay in Beijing for a year, and then he would be able to live a healthy life for the rest of his days. Unfortunately, he ran into this trouble soon after his arrival in Beijing. This night was inevitably going to be a sleepless one. By the time Ni Yang returned home, it was already past 2 in the morning, but the lights in the house were still on. As soon as she opened the courtyard door, Ni Tsuehua came out from inside. "Yang Yang is back." Ni Yang was surprised. "Mom, why are you still awake?" Ni Tsuehua said with a smile, I wasn't sleepy, I was just studying English. Parents' love is a boundless sea. She wasn't not sleepy, she was worried about Ni Yang. Ni Yang closed the courtyard door. It's already past 2 o'clock. In the future, if I go out, you don't have to wait for me. I am an adult and can take care of myself. Ni Huan nodded, then said, Yang Yang, I've prepared the bath water for you. Go freshen up and sleep soon. Okay, said Ni Yang. Mom, you should go to bed soon too. Ni Hua had not only prepared the bath water but also rose petals and milk. Adding rose petals and milk to bath water can make the skin delicate, smooth, and fair. Ni Yang always pays great attention to her skincare routine, and that's why her skin is so great. Although it was late, Ni Yang still enjoyed a luxurious rose-infused milk bath. By the time she got into bed, it was already past 3 o'clock. Because she had stayed up late, she didn't wake up until after 10 o'clock the next morning. Yang Yang. As soon as she finished eating, someone outside was calling her. Ni Yang ran to open the door, only to see that it was Li Ronghua. After breaking up with Zhou Wenhua, Li Ronghua became more independent and radiant. Sister Ronghua. Yang Yang, are you going into town later? I have the day off today and I want to go shopping in town. If you're going, we can go together. It's always nice for girls to have company, and Ni Yang just happened to live in Jinghua village. Yes, Ni Yang nodded. But I need to wash my hair first. I'll wait for you. Li Ronghua entered the yard with Ni Yang and asked curiously, your family's new house is decorated so beautifully, when are you going to move in? Speaking of which, Ni Yang's new house had been finished for a while now. Ni Yang said, we plan to move in at the end of the year. Just in time to celebrate the new year there. Now that it's just been renovated, the smell inside the house is too strong. It's not good for children. Li Ronghua nodded, yes, Yun at your home is still so small. After washing her hair, Ni Yang went to change her clothes. She wore a pink cheongsam. Pink is a color that requires a certain charisma to pull off well. Worn without care, it would overshadow the person. But on Ni Yang, the color seemed to lose its shine. She matched it with a pair of beige high heels, which when walked in, exuded a great sense of vigor. The combination of pink and beige conveys a playful sophistication, balancing both vibrancy and innocence. Li Ronghua enviously said, Yang Yang, every cheongsam of yours looks so good. Ni Yang laughed. If you want, I have more in my wardrobe. You can pick any you like. 80% of her daily outfit was cheongsams. Li Ronghua replied, no, thanks. Cheongsam is not for everyone. It looks good on you but not necessarily on me. Cheongsam is indeed one of the most demanding outfits. It requires not only a good face but also a good figure and charisma. Although she was pretty, she felt unsophisticated when she wore a cheongsam, unlike Ni Yang, who looked naturally graceful. The two took the tram to the city. Now, the business in the restaurant had basically stabilized, so Ni Yang didn't go there often. She mainly managed the accounts on scheduled days, evaluated performance, and occasionally would disguise herself as a customer to test the staff's service attitude. Chapter 608, Shengguan Dui, The Extraordinary Grandpa Proposing for Marriage. _2. So, upon arriving in the city, Ni Yang immediately went to a newsstand to buy a newspaper. Having quickly scanned it, Ni Yang quietly breathed a sigh of relief. There was no news on the paper about fatalities. It seemed that her eldest brother had successfully evaded a looming disaster. In her past life, after this incident, the entire news industry was in an uproar. The headlines of all major news outlets were about the murder that had taken place in Bottomless Lane. In her master's home, one such piece of news was kept, which Ni Yang had glanced at unintentionally. Because it was the last photo left by her brother before he passed away, her master and his wife neither dared to bring it out to look at, nor had the heart to throw it away. Li Ronghua, standing next to Ni Yang, remarked, Yang Yang, I didn't expect you to like reading the news. Ni Yang folded the newspaper and put it in her backpack. I'm just killing time, there's nothing else to do. By the way, Sister Ronghua, I need to go to the bank next. Do you want to come? Li Ronghua nodded. Sure, I don't have anything else to do either. The two of them went to the bank where Ni Yang withdrew 100,000 yuan. At that time, if you were to withdraw more than 10,000, you needed to make an appointment 3 days in advance. Ni Yang had made her appointment a few days earlier, so she got her cash quickly. Li Ronghua watched as Ni Yang stuffed the cash into her canvas bag, astonished. Yang, why are you withdrawing so much money? 100,000 yuan. That's a whole bag of it. This was the first time Li Ronghua had ever seen so much money, and it felt surreal. She was even a bit worried about Ni Yang carrying so much cash. What if she got mugged? To buy a house. Ni Yang responded, buy a house. Li Ronghua asked perplexedly, why would you want to buy a house? Doesn't your family already own one? Investment. Ni Yang slung her backpack over her shoulder. Sister Ronghua, let me tell you, in the future, the real estate prices in Beijing will soar by 10, even 1,000 times, especially for the houses in the city center. Not to mention the city center, even the prices for the houses in Yanjiao, which is next to Beijing, will be speculatively high in the coming years. Unlike now, where buying a house is like buying cabbage. No one even wants to buy one. Really? Li Ronghua walked out with Ni Yang. Yang, don't get conned. Isn't it enough to just own a house? What's the point of buying so many? Li Ronghua had seen people hoarding cabbages for winter, but she had never seen anyone hoarding houses. Ni Yang laughed. It's true. Sister Ronghua, when you get home, tell your parents to invest as much money as they can into real estate. Whoever is capable of buying in the city center should buy there. If that's not feasible, buying in the suburbs is also a great bargain. Li Ronghua scratched her head. This seems a little far-fetched. If she asked her parents to invest all of their savings into real estate, they would definitely refuse. Ni Yang carried on. Sister Ronghua, I'm quite serious. If your parents don't want to buy, I suggest you save up and buy one yourself. The government policy is really good now. As long as you have a regular job, you can apply for an interest-free loan from the bank to buy a house. In early 1983, the government had a poverty alleviation policy that offered interest-free loans. With all the bonuses and salary that Li Ronghua gets, she earns 300 yuan a month, which is even more than the salary of a white-collar worker in later years. The price of a bare shell house in the city center of Beijing is more than 300 yuan per square meter. A two-bedroom apartment of 80 square meters would only cost a little over 20,000 yuan. With a loan, there wouldn't be much financial stress for Li Ronghua at the moment. But Li Ronghua shook her head after hearing Ni Yang's words. What? Borrowing money to buy a house? Isn't that asking for trouble? Plus, I don't see the appeal of living in the city. It's like living in a pigeon coop. If I had money, I'd build a big house in the countryside. That would be spacious and comfortable. I could raise chickens if I want to, or ducks if I prefer. City living is so restricting, even having a puppy makes the whole house stink. Ni Yang laughed. Sister Ronghua, the way you're thinking is wrong. The house you buy now will be your marital property. I'll offer you some security, at least providing you with some bargaining power at your in-laws' place. The most important thing for a woman is to have some premarital property and to be financially independent. Premarital property? Li Ronghua asked, what's the difference between premarital and postmarital property? Although she recognized each individual word uttered by Ni Yang, she couldn't understand the meaning when they were combined. Chapter 609. Not the usual grandpa, Shengguan Dehui who proposed. _3. Ni Yang said, the difference is significant. Premarital property is your individual property, while postmarital property is shared between you and your spouse. If one day your marriage falls apart, you'll have to split the house you bought after marriage as well as your salary in half. But the property you owned before marriage is all yours. So many people suffer from not understanding the law. And so many women have been swindled by worthless men and left destitute. Li Ronghua continued, why is that? So, you're saying if I save money now, after I get married, I'll have to split it evenly with my partner? Ni Yang nodded. Exactly, you could also notarize your premarital property. However, I think the safest bet is to buy a house. After all, a house appreciates in value, while money sitting in a bank is dormant. For example, if 2 yuan can buy a kilo of pork now, perhaps 20 or 30 years later, 2 yuan could only buy a popsicle. If 20,000 yuan can buy a house now, you might not be able to purchase one for 2 million yuan later. You spend 20,000 yuan on a house now, and in the future, it could be worth 2 million or even more. But if you just store your money in the bank, perhaps later you won't even be able to afford a washroom. Li Ronghua was surprised. Yang, is what you said true or false? Will house prices really rise that fast? Ni Yen gave a faint smile. Anything is possible. Anyway, Sister Ronghua, rather than keeping your money in the bank, it's better to buy a house. Li Ronghua responded, but I don't have that much money now. Get a loan. Ni Yang said, the current national policy is so good, and you don't even have to pay interest. But I still have to pay back the principal. Li Ronghua said, I just don't like to borrow money. And she always had a feeling that the whole idea of investing in a house seemed a bit far-fetched. People are not gods. Who can foresee what will happen in 20 or 30 years? Maybe in 30 years, the house can't be sold, is worthless, and she has wasted tens of thousands of yuan for nothing. Ni Yang smiled and said, that's something you'll need to decide for yourself. Yang, are you really going to use 100,000 yuan to buy a house? Li Ronghua continued to ask. Ni Yang nodded. Yang, aren't you afraid of losing money? It's not easy to earn money these days. Although Ni Yang had quite a bit of money, Li Ronghua knew that Ni Yang's money didn't come easily. Ni Yang said, Beijing is a first-tier city, and there will always be people in first-tier cities. Where there are people, there needs to be houses. So, Sister Ronghua, rest assured, this investment is guaranteed to turn a profit. Li Ronghua nodded, as long as you've thought it through, Yang. Honestly, Ni Yang grabbed Li Ronghua's arm. Sister Ronghua, you should buy a place too. Li Ronghua shook her head, I better not. Seeing that Li Ronghua was adamant, Ni Yang stopped persuading her. She went to the sales office, bought 5 houses in one go, and then returned. Sister Ronghua, I've basically finished handling my business. Where would you like to go next? Ni Yang looked at Li Ronghua. Li Ronghua said, let's go and get something to eat. I'm kind of hungry. A new food street has just opened up on Yurdist Road. Okay. Ni Yang nodded. The two arrived at the food street. Just like food streets in later years, the stalls lined both sides of the street, and the food street was crowded with people, practically heel to heel. Ni Yang and Li Ronghua bought some stir-fried rice noodles and grilled meat skewers, found a spot and sat down to eat. Wang Ming, along with Zhou Xiuzhen and Daqiangzi's mother, were also on the snack street. Today was a day off, and the factory was closed. Wang Ming caught sight of Li Ronghua eating and couldn't believe her eyes. How dare she, Li Ronghua, to secretly eat out behind Zhou Wenhua's back? By this point, Li Ronghua hadn't been to the Zhou family for nearly 2 months and hadn't given any money to Zhou Wenhua. Last week, when Zhou Wenhua needed 2 yuan to buy study materials, she had to provide it. When she asked her to give Zhou Wenhua 1,000 yuan, she refused. This Li Ronghua, was she still considering marrying into the Zhou family or not? Wang Ming hardened her face, putting on the demeanor a mother-in-law should have. Xiuzhen, call Li Ronghua over. Since Daqiangzi's mother was there, she could see how she would reprimand Li Ronghua. Daqiangzi has yet to marry a wife. But her son was sought after by others who wanted to marry into her family, giving Wang Ming an air of superiority in front of Daqiangzi's mother. Chapter 610, Not Your Average Grandpa, The Proposing Shangguan Dehui. _4. As soon as Zhou Xiuzhen heard the 3 words, Li Ronghua, her eyes immediately lit up. Li Ronghua, where is Li Ronghua? Although Zhou Xiuzhen didn't like Li Ronghua, she liked Li Ronghua's money. Every time she ran into Li Ronghua outside, he would buy her a bunch of food to please her, and then he would even give her spending money. Over there, Wang Ming nodded with her chin. Zhou Xiuzhen immediately stood up. Wait a second, Wang Ming continued. What's wrong? Zhou Xiuzhen asked, puzzled. Wang Ming went on, there's a roasted chicken for sale over there. Have Li Ronghua buy 2 roasted chickens. Eat one here and take one back for your auntie. Your brother Daqiangzi loves roasted chicken the most. After all, it was Li Ronghua's money being spent, but it was her face that grew long, so Wang Ming didn't feel the slightest bit sorry. Zhou Xiuzhen nodded. Okay mom, I got it. Daqiangzi's mother asked curiously, who is this Li Ronghua? Wang Ming said proudly, he's just the girl who's throwing herself at my son. I bet she's made my son angry, that's why she's come after me to ask me to persuade my son to forgive her. Go to Wuxia World. Sight Daqiangzi's mother said in surprise. Which one? Which one is she? I want to see what this girl who's throwing herself at someone looks like. Wang Ming pointed toward one direction. Look, that one over there. Daqiangzi's mother stood up and looked in that direction. Is it the one wearing the cheongsam? That girl is really beautiful. She's so pretty, what could you possibly be unsatisfied with? Hey, why do I feel like I've seen that girl somewhere before? Isn't she the one who was serving noodles in the noodle restaurant last time? Such a beautiful girl, why would she throw herself at Zhou Wenhua? What a waste. Wang Ming glanced that way, not the one in the cheongsam, the one next to her in the cheongsam. Oh, her. Although Li Ronghua wasn't as pretty as the girl next to her, she was still presentable and stood out among the average maidens and young wives. What a shame she had thrown herself at someone. Daqiangzi's mother was puzzled, then said, that girl in the cheongsam must be good friends with the one who's throwing herself at your son, right? Probably, Wang Ming nodded. So young and dressed so flirtatiously, you can tell she's no good. Dressing up in a cheongsam. Does she think she's in a TV drama or something? Daqiangzi's mother continued, a young girl looking good, with a nice figure, looks good in anything. Wang Ming took a sip of tea. People's hearts are like their bellies. Who knows what kind of person she really is? That Li Ronghua too, really? Hanging out with that kind of person, eating food together, isn't she afraid of losing Wenhua's face? When she comes over, I have to give her a good lecture. Daqiangzi's mother said, by the way, wasn't there a rumor last time that your Wenhua had found a suitable girlfriend from a matching family? Why is this girl still clinging on to Wenhua? Wang Ming snorted softly, shameless. Just watch, Daqiangzi's mom, when she sees me later, just watch how she'll try to please me, asking me to persuade Wenhua to get back together with her. Daqiangzi's mother nodded. The more Wang Ming thought about it, the more smug she felt, and she quickly finished a glass of water. Zhou Xiuzhen approached the two. Sister-in-law. And Ai Yang was taken aback for a moment, then looked up at Li Ronghua. Seeing the Zhou family again made Li Ronghua's complexion change. Before she could speak, Zhou Xiuzhen reached for the roasted chicken leg on the plate. Li Ronghua was so stingy. Hiding here, eating roasted chicken legs all by herself. Was she not afraid of offending her future sister-in-law? She hadn't had meat in such a long time. She was really craving it. Luckily, she ran into Li Ronghua here. Just as Zhou Xiaoshen's hand was reaching for the roasted chicken leg, it was picked up by Li Ronghua, leaving Zhou Xiuzhen grabbing at nothing. She looked at Li Ronghua puzzled. Sister-in-law, what are you doing? Li Ronghua said calmly, I'm not your sister-in-law. I've already broken up with Zhou Wenhua. If you want to eat a roasted chicken leg, let Su Ziqin buy it for you. Zhou Xiuzhen felt as if she had heard the biggest joke. Break up? Li Ronghua would break up with Zhou Wenhua? How could that be possible? Who didn't know how much Li Ronghua loved Zhou Wenhua, to the point of death and life? Li Ronghua, what kind of fit are you throwing? Zhou Xiuzhen couldn't even bother to pretend. Was it my brother who dumped you, and you're angry about it? Don't worry, as long as you have me, your future sister-in-law here, I will definitely persuade my brother to change his mind. Although you're uneducated, not as pretty as Zijin, and from a less distinguished family than Zijin. But after all, you've been with my brother for so many years, if not for contributions then for the hard work. Rest assured, I will definitely speak well of you to my brother and persuade him not to dump you. Now, hand over the roasted chicken leg, I want to eat it. Oh, and I'm out of money, give me some spending money. Chapter 611. Not your typical grandpa. The proposing Shangguan Dehui. _5. The Zhou family had become accustomed to treating Li Ronghua like a fool. They also took Li Ronghua's contributions for granted. Li Ronghua sneered. So, The old her could be bullied by even a 13-year-old child. Apparently, she was even more inferior to a 13-year-old. Li Ronghua's hands, holding the plate, were trembling. Besides anger, there was only anger in her heart. She wasn't sure how to react. Ai Yang gave a slight smile, turning her eyes to Zhou Xiuzhen. Little girl, you're not young either. Your understanding should be fine, right? Sister Ronghua has made it so clear. Do you still want to bring shame on yourself here? Zhou Xiuzhen, although young, blurted out in her anger, Li Ronghua, the type that throws herself at people and ends up owing them favors, how could she possibly decide to break up with my brother? My brother is a university graduate. She is just an illiterate who only graduated from elementary school. Ai Yang couldn't figure out what kind of family could raise such a child. Though Zhou Xiuzhen was young, every word she uttered was cutting and extremely unpleasant to hear. Ai Yang wasn't a saint, and she certainly wouldn't hold back on pointing out Zhou Xiuzhen's flaws just because she was young. If you don't prune a young tree, it would not grow straight. A naughty child deserved to be disciplined. Go to Wuxia World. Sight Ai Yang gave a slight smile, picked up the last chicken leg from the plate and threw it in front of the stray dog beside the table. Little girl, do you see that? Sister Ronghua would rather give this chicken leg to a stray dog than to you. Also, as for your brother, even if he begged Ronghua, she would not even spare him a glance. Watching her beloved chicken leg being thrown away and gulped down by a stray dog in a few bites, Xiuzhen couldn't stand it anymore and burst into tears. If Zhou Xiuzhen had started crying in the past, Li Ronghua would have been terrified and hurried to comfort her immediately. Zhou Xiuzhen exactly had this in mind. As Li Ronghua's future sister-in-law, would Li Ronghua bear to see her cry? Seeing Zhou Xiuzhen crying so sadly, Li Ronghua couldn't help but give her a sympathetic look. When she first met Zhou Xiuzhen, she was only 8 or 9 years old. She had watched Zhou Xiuzhen grow up. Ai Yang patted Li Ronghua's hand. Li Ronghua immediately put away her sympathy. That's right. The Zhou family did not deserve her sympathy at all. Zhou Xiuzhen, crying and looking at Li Ronghua and seeing that she had no reaction, angrily said, Li Ronghua, you're done for. My mom is here today. I'm going to tell her. I'll make her hate you. I'll make sure you never step foot into our Zhou family's door again. You wait and see. Kids are like that. They love to tattle, and they always say, you just wait. Zhou Xiuzhen ran towards Wang Ming while wiping her tears. Li Ronghua looked at Ai Yang. Yang, let's go. In the end, she still lacked the courage to face the Zhou family. Ai Yang held Li Rongyang's hand. Sister Rong, don't run away from what you need to face. Moreover, you are not the one in the wrong in this matter. Zhou Xiuzhen actually ran back crying, which was something Wang Ming had not expected at all. In her imagination, Li Ronghua should have come to apologize to her humbly, with 2 roasted ducks in her hands. Unexpectedly, Li Ronghua dared to upset Zhou Xiuzhen. Did she still respect her future mother-in-law? Zhou Xiuzhen vilified Li Ronghua while sobbing, Mom, that bad woman is too much. She threw the chicken leg to a stray dog, not even giving me a bite. Wang Ming was busy comforting Zhou Xiuzhen. Xiuzhen, don't cry. I will take you to that wretched girl. I will make her buy 10 roasted chicken legs for you. I will make her apologize to you. Really? Zhou Xiuzhen's eyes lit up. Wang Ming said, Of course it's true. Would that wretched girl dare not listen to me? Let's go. Then I won't get involved. Daqiang's mother chose to avoid it, as this was someone else's family affair, and it wasn't appropriate for her to intervene. But Wang Ming, intent on showing Daqiang's mother how she hustles, how awesome her son was, wouldn't let her leave at this point. Wang Ming pulled Daqiang's mother. Daqiang's mother, don't leave. Come with me. Let's see how I discipline that wretched girl. You are about to have a future daughter-in-law yourself. You can learn from me how to be a mother-in-law. Okay then. Daqiang's mother had no choice but to trail after Wang Ming. The 3 of them walked towards Li Ronghua. Wang Ming said with satisfaction, Daqiang's mother, in a while, you can see what a bootlicker that wretched girl is. She'll do anything to be with my cultured son. Even if she were asked to eat shit, she would do it without hesitation. Chapter 6:12. Not just any grandpa, the proposing Shangguan Dehui. _6. Li Ronghua is just that low. Who asked for their son to be so capable? Wang Ming, striding confidently while leading Zhou Xiuzhen, arrived in front of Li Ronghua. She didn't speak. Because she knew Li Ronghua would definitely have his face set in a frown, take the initiative to call her auntie, and then she would give her a good scolding. Let Daqiangzi's mom see just how graceful she really is. But what Wang Ming didn't expect was, Li Ronghua acted as if he didn't see her coming, still chatting and laughing with Ni Yang at his side. So bold. This Li Ronghua is really so bold. How dare he ignore her like this? But Li Ronghua probably wasn't that bold, maybe he just didn't see her coming. Wang Ming straightened her back and coughed loudly. Now Li Ronghua should have heard, right? Go to Wuxia World. Sight next, she would see Li Ronghua's submissive demeanor. Wang Ming held her head high, extremely proud of herself. After waiting a little while, Daqiangzi's mom was starting to feel a bit awkward, but Li Ronghua still had no reaction. Daqiangzi's mom glanced at Wang Ming, her eyes extremely complex, making Wang Ming's face feel a little difficult to sustain. What exactly is going on with Li Ronghua today? Wang Ming didn't wait any longer and spoke up directly. Li Ronghua, what's with you? Didn't you see Xiuzhen and I coming? Sitting there like a statue. And what's this about not giving Xiuzhen chicken legs to eat? You better hurry up and apologize to Xiuzhen, and then go buy 10 chicken legs for her. Wang Ming spoke righteously as if Li Ronghua owed her something. Only then did Li Ronghua stop talking, turning his head to look at Wang Ming. Lady, do you have any manners at all? Am I familiar with you? You're shouting here like no one else is around. At your age, I would expect better. How can you act so uneducated? Also, the chicken legs I bought, if I want to feed them to a dog, I'll feed them to a dog. Why should I feed them to someone who's worse than a dog? Wang Ming was dumbfounded. She never expected Li Ronghua to talk to her like this. Is this an illusion? Shouldn't Li Ronghua be apologizing to her on his knees, admitting his fault? What on earth is going on? Daqiangzi's mom was also a bit baffled. This was not what Wang Ming had described. This girl had spirit and character. How could she seem so desperate? Li Ronghua, look carefully at who I am. How dare you speak to me like that? Do you still want to be with my son or not? Wang Ming brought out her last trump card, knowing Li Ronghua couldn't live without Zhou Wenhua. When it comes to Zhou Wenhua, Li Ronghua would do anything shameless. Your son? Li Ronghua scoffed. That freeloader of a son you have, even if he throws himself at me, I wouldn't want him. Since I've bumped into you today, please go back and pass the message to your son. Tell him to repay the money as soon as possible. Save me the trouble of finding him at his school and sparing him some embarrassment. At the last sentence, Li Ronghua glanced nervously at Ni Yang. He saw Ni Yang giving him an encouraging look. Li Ronghua instantly calmed down. Thank goodness Ni Yang was here today, or else he really wouldn't know how to deal with the situation. Wang Ming's entire face turned white with rage, cursing out loud, You little slut! A cheap tramp who pays her way. When has my son ever owed you money? What on earth is going on with Li Ronghua today? Is he possessed? Wang Ming was both angry and panicked. Although Zhou Wenhua had told her a month ago that he had broken up with Li Ronghua, Wang Ming hadn't taken it to heart. In her mind, Li Ronghua surely couldn't bear to leave her son. That's why she was so bold in seeking out Li Ronghua. She hadn't thought. Reality dealt her a heavy blow. Li Ronghua took out an IOU from her bag. Just because your son has lived off me for so many years, do you think he doesn't need to repay? Do you see this? It's written here in black and white. All right, there's even your son's fingerprint here. If you don't believe it, you can always call the police. Let them handle it. The instant Wang Ming saw the IOU, she was scared. She was truly scared this time. Of course, she knew Zhou Wenhua had been mooching off Li Ronghua all these years, but she didn't know that Zhou Wenhua had actually written an IOU. When was this IOU written? 1,000 yuan. How could her family repay this? With this thought, Wang Ming's face stiffened as she sarcastically looked at Li Ronghua. Ronghua, we're all family here. What's all this talk about repaying debts? So impersonal. Did you upset Wenhua again? Don't worry, as long as Auntie's here, Wenhua won't dare get mad at you. You're the daughter-in-law I've agreed on in my heart. Come on, give the IOU back to Auntie. They'll keep it safe for you. Chapter 613, Not the Common Grandpa, Shengguan Dehui who proposed. _7 Wang Ming's face changed as quickly as turning a page in a book. She gave off completely different vibes at the start and at the end. This time, Li Ronghua wouldn't be fooled again. Hell no. Who said we're a family? Go back and tell your son, if he doesn't pay back the money, the whole school will know he is a freeloader. Daqiang's mom's face looked particularly interesting. She had thought that Zhou Wenhua was a capable man, that he could even attract young girls to take care of his expenses. Turned out he's just a scam artist. A college student at that. So embarrassing. Daqiang's mom glances at Wang Ming. Wenhua's mom, I have something else to attend to, so I'll take my leave and go back first. The surrounding crowd looked interestingly at Wang Ming while chattering about her. A freeloading man. What a disturbing reputation. Wang Ming is a face-conscious person, and under this circumstance, all her face was lost. She immediately grabbed onto Zhou Xiuzhen and made their way through the crowd to leave. Go to Wuxia World. Sight looking just like a lost dog. Zhou Xiuzhen was still insisting on having roasted chicken legs and had no intention of leaving. Mom, you lied to me. Didn't you say that Li Ronghua would buy me 10 roasted chicken legs? She still didn't understand what was going on. How could Li Ronghua turn hostile just like that? All you know is to eat. Will eating lead you to death? You lazy bum. Wang Ming slapped Zhou Xiuzhen right across the face. Stunned by the slap, Zhou Xiuzhen covered her face. She didn't even dare to cry out loud and quietly followed behind Wang Ming. How upset Wang Ming felt. She didn't gain the upper hand, became a laughingstock in front of Daqiang's mom, and ended up with a debt of 1,000 yuan. When did Li Ronghua, the fool, become so smart? How capable her son is. Just wait for it. Li Ronghua will have regrets one day. Wang Ming consoled herself inwardly. After Wang Ming and Zhou Xiuzhen left, Li Ronghua turned to look at N.I.Yen. Yang, thanks. I'm really grateful for your help today. The words she used to confront Wang Ming were taught by N.I.Yen. If she had to face Wang Ming and Zhou Xiuzhen alone, she wouldn't know where to start or what to say. N.I.Yen smiled and said, It's okay. Sister Ronghua, you performed really well today. If you run into them in the future, that's the way to confront them. There's no need to be polite with such people. Li Ronghua nodded. After they finished their meal, they prepared to head back. As they were on their way to the station, a luxurious car came to a stop beside them. The car window was rolled down slowly, revealing a handsome face. It was Wu Daming, sister-in-law. Wu Daming. N.I.Yen looked at him with surprise. Didn't your friend mention you were out of town? How come you're back so soon? Wu Daming responded, I just got back today. By the way, sister-in-law, where are you and this older sister heading to? I can give you a ride. N.I.Yen politely declined with a smile. It's okay, we're just going to take the tram back. Wu Daming, anyway, I'm free. If my elder brother finds out that I saw you but let you return by tram, he'll definitely break my legs. N.I.Yen gave a slight smile. Rest assured, I promise not to tell him. Sister-in-law, just get in. I've got nothing to do today anyway. Wu Daming hopped out of the car and opened the door for N.I.Yen. Since Wu Daming had already spoken up to this point, if N.I.Yen were to reject his offer further, it would seem like she was being pretentious. N.I.Yen and Li Ronghua took a seat in the back. Seeing a bit of dust on the dashboard, Wu Daming turned his head towards Li Ronghua. Could you pass me the duster from the back seat? Li Ronghua reached out, grabbed the duster, and handed it to Wu Daming. Here you go, Grandpa. What? Wu Daming was taken aback and asked, What did you call me? Grandpa. He's in his prime, how can he be a grandpa so soon? Grandpa. You called me older sister, so why can't I call you Grandpa? Li Ronghua looked at Wu Daming. Wu Daming pointed at himself, was so excited that he lost his words. Am I that old? He was still unmarried this year. Am I that old? Li Ronghua glared at him. You actually had the nerve to call me older sister. Wu Daming seemed all right with his decent appearance. And he was so bad at talking. I'm 23 this year. Wu Daming declared his age. Li Ronghua was almost pissed off. A man who was merely a year older than her was calling her older sister. Seeing that the argument was about to escalate, Ni Yen smiled and said, Daming, Sister Ronghua is 22 this year. Wu Daming shrugged. She looks too mature for her age. Ni Yen. Now she finally knew why Wu Daming, despite being mature, still couldn't find a girlfriend. This wasn't just some straight talker. This was a straight talker with a drill. Li Ronghua leaned back on the seat, turned her head, and ignored Wu Daming. Wu Daming involuntarily rubbed his head. This woman is really weird. And she's mad now. Whoever marries her will have rotten luck for 100 generations. He knew he shouldn't have saved her that night. As the car sped along the highway, after a while, Wu Daming, as if remembering something, blurted out, "All right, sister-in-law, thanks for the birthday gift." When he received the birthday gift from Ni Yen, Wu Daming was astounded. He never thought that Ni Yen would remember his birthday after he had casually mentioned it that day, let alone buying him the Nikon FM2 camera that he had always wanted. Sister-in-law is indeed his true sister-in-law. Ni Yen laughed and said, "You're welcome. By the way, do you know Brother Mo's birthday?" "Of course." Wu Daming continued, "My elder brother's birthday is on November 14th of the lunar calendar. Are you preparing a gift for him?" Ni Yen nodded. "Promise me to keep it a secret." Wu Daming nodded hastily. I understand it all. How romantic." In this era, romantic was a popular term. It means to be romantic. At the same time, in a cafe in Beijing, sitting across from Shangguan Dehui were Ni Zihua and little Ni Yun. Shangguan Dehui had initially assumed that he would face communication barriers with Ni Zihua, considering she had grown up in a village and had never gone to school. But to his surprise, Ni Zihua was just as knowledgeable as he was. There was no communication barrier between them at all. Daya. Shangguan Dehui held the prepared red velvet box in his hand hesitatingly and finally broke the silence. "What is it?" Ni Zihua looked up at Shangguan Dehui. Shangguan Dehui felt his palms were getting sweaty, and the prepared words slipped from his mind. His breathing started growing dense. "Daya?" Ni Zihua put down her cup and laughed. "What's up? You can tell me." Shangguan Dehui gritted his teeth, collected all his nervousness, and set the red velvet box in front of Ni Zihua. "Daya, please give me a chance to take care of you." Chapter 6:14. Agreed to be together, visiting parents, guests who have come from afar. _1 There was a diamond ring in the red velvet box. Under the light, the diamond ring dazzled with blinding brilliance. Gathering his courage, Shangguan Dehui stood up from the chair and knelt on one knee. "Comrade Daya, Chairman Mao said that any courtship which doesn't lead to marriage is hooliganism. I heard that young people nowadays propose on their knees, so please allow me the opportunity to take care of you." Shangguan Dehui was very nervous. Holding the diamond ring, his hand was trembling. Ni Zihua was stunned, her mind blank. She had not expected Shangguan Dehui to make such a move. Was he proposing marriage? Ni Zihua had never experienced something like this in her life. In her earlier years, she did not even have a decent wedding ceremony. Now she had a surprisingly ceremonious marriage proposal in front of her. Looking at Shangguan Dehui kneeling on the ground, Ni Qihua's eyelids turned a bit red. Her heart was beating rapidly. She wasn't made of wood. Through their time together and their meeting in their youth, she had indeed developed unusual affection for Shangguan Dehui. But could she accept Shangguan Dehui's proposal? Go to Wuxia World. Sight she knew that Shangguan Dehui came from a distinguished family and was a university professor with superior family conditions. But she didn't even have a primary school graduation certificate. The disparity between them was too great. And Ni Yang, she hadn't communicated with him about this. Would Ni Yang agree? Then there was little Ni Yun, he was still so young. Although Shangguan Dehui would accept little Ni Yun, would Shangguan Dehui's family accept her? At Ni Qihua's age, it wasn't that if they had love they could be together. She had many issues to consider. For a moment, Enai Zuihua felt caught between a rock and a hard place. Dia, you should trust in me. I promise to treat you well in the future. Shengguan Dehui seemed to see Enai Kuihua's hesitation and continued, as for Yang Yang, she agrees with us being together. As for my family and my children, they absolutely will not interfere with my personal feelings. Madame Shengguan was not an unreasonable person. And both Shengguan Su and Shengguan Shi were good children. Shengguan Dehui was confident that he could give Enai Zuihua a happy life. Upon hearing his words, Enai Zuihua was startled. Yang Shi? Shengguan Dehui continued to explain, I talked to her a month ago. Yang is a good child. She said she hopes you are happy. She does not oppose us being together. Therefore, you should not have any psychological burden, leave all the problems to me. We have already missed the first half of our lives. I do not want to miss the second half as well. Enai Zuihua didn't expect that Shengguan Dehui had already discussed this matter with Enai Yang. Knowing that Enai Yang did not object, she felt much more relaxed. Shengguan Dehui was a very good man. He treated her well and was good to both Enai Yang and little Enai Yun. In her youth, Enai Zuihua didn't know what love felt like. She didn't expect to experience the flavor of love at middle age. However, would the huge difference between them really be no problem? Enai Zuihua looked at Shengguan Dehui, her hands tightly clasped together, and began speaking seriously. Comrade Shengguan Dehui, do you know my personal situation? Shengguan Dehui didn't react for a moment. Enai Zuihua continued, I was born in the countryside. I have no education, I haven't even stepped half a foot into a school. A year ago, I couldn't even recognize half a word. Regarding her past, Enai Zuihua didn't want to hide anything. If it was black, it was black. If it was white, it was white. I know all of it. Shengguan Dehui continued, Dia, during this time together, I haven't felt that there are any language barriers between us. You are a very excellent person. If you were to ask me, it's me who isn't worthy of you. I hope you'll seriously consider our feelings. In life, you only get one shot. If we miss this chance, I fear we may only see each other in the next life. He was not the cowherd, and Enai was not the weaver girl. Their relationship didn't span across the Milky Way, and there were no heavenly laws or the Queen Mother impeding them. With peace and stability in this age, lovers should consummate their love. Enai Zuihua bit her lip. She was hesitating. She was scared. At this moment, a small white hand reached out and picked up the diamond ring from the velvet box. Mommy, wear it. Enai Yang had previously bought a gold ring for Enai Zuihua, and little Enai Yun often held it to help Enai Zuihua wear it, even playing with it as a toy. So, she was familiar with rings. Chapter 6:15. Agreed to be together, visit parents, guests from afar. _2. Enai Zuihua didn't expect little Enai Yun to suddenly pick up the ring, let alone, that ring was accurately put on her finger. Seeing the ring on Enai Kuihua's hand, little Enai Yun started to laugh happily. Pretty. Pretty. The happy ones were not only little Enai Yun, but also Shengguan Dehui. He lifted his head and looked at Enai Zuihua seriously. Comrade Dia, consider this as your agreement. Enai Kuihua's face turned red for a moment. You should get up first. The restaurant. Enai Zuihua was about to say that there were many people in the restaurant and it would bother them, but when she looked up, to her surprise, the restaurant was completely empty. Except for their table, there were no other guests. Enai Zuihua was not aware that Shengguan Dehui had booked the entire restaurant for the successful proposal. Shengguan Dehui was overjoyed. He couldn't restrain his inner wild selves and lifted Enai Zuihua up. Dia, tell me, I am not dreaming. Enai Zuihua exclaimed, quickly put me down. Unlike Shengguan Dehui, Enai Zuihua was always a very conservative person. Even though she had previous experiences in M country, when she was the subject of the situation, she still felt a little embarrassed. Although Beijing was very open at this time and many young couples holding hands could be seen on the street, hugging like this was still quite rare. Fearing to scare her again, Shengguan Dehui let go of her. Comrade Dia, thank you for giving me this opportunity. Enai Zuihua slipped off the ring. I can't accept this ring for now, it's too valuable. Go to Wuxia World. Sight in the countryside, only when engaged would such a valuable gift be given. She and Shangguan Dehui hadn't met their parents yet. Accepting such a valuable thing from him made Enai Tsuehua a little uneasy. Shangguan Dehui said, "Keep it. The diamond ring is a promise, a testament, a commemoration, and a witness to our feelings. It's too valuable." Enai Tsuehua was a little hesitant. Shangguan Dehui put the ring back on Enai Kuihua's hand. "What's valuable or not, we're going to be family sooner or later anyway." Enai Tsuehua, it hadn't started yet, but she already felt a little overwhelmed by Shangguan Dehui. After eating, Shangguan Dehui took Enai Tsuehua and little Enai Yun to watch a movie. Afterwards, they went to the amusement park. The amusement park at this time didn't have as many amusements as in the later ages. There were only some simple facilities inside, such as slides, seesaws, carousels, etc. Little Enai Yun slid down and climbed up the slide, playing very happily. Enai Tsuehua stood outside the barrier. Yun, be careful." There were many people around, but her hand was quietly held by someone. Enai Tsuehua was initially startled, and then she turned her head to see Shangguan Dihui's face. The three of them played outside until after 5 in the evening when Shangguan Dehui drove Enai Tsuehua home. When Shangguan Dehui returned to the Shangguan family, it was already after 7 in the evening. When he returned, the old lady Shangguan was still sitting in the dining room waiting for him to have dinner. "Mom, you don't have to wait for me to come back for dinner in the future." Shangguan Dehui sat down in a good mood. Old lady Shangguan laughed. "It's okay, anyway, Mom doesn't have anything to do when she's alone at home." Shangguan Shi and Shangguan Su had their own jobs, and they seldom came home. Even Shangguan Dehui lived in the school most of the time and only came home on weekends. Today happened to be Saturday, so the old lady Shangguan was waiting for Shangguan Dehui to have dinner together. Old lady Shangguan looked at Shangguan Dehui. "Dehui, what about the thing you told me last time? What happened now?" Shangguan Dehui naturally knew what the old lady Shangguan was referring to, nodded and said, We have confirmed our relationship now." Old lady Shangguan was surprised. "Really?" Shangguan Dehui nodded. Old lady Shangguan continued, "Where's the girl from? What's her name? What's the situation now?" Shangguan Dehui said, "Mom, you know her too." "I do." Old lady Shangguan was stunned. Shangguan Dehui nodded. Old lady Shangguan's face suddenly turned cold. "Is it Lin Fong?" "It's not her." Shangguan Dehui shook his head. "Then who could it be?" Shangguan Dehui had kept himself clean for years. He never had much contact with any woman. Old lady Shangguan really couldn't guess who it could be. "Who is it? Don't keep your mother in suspense." Chapter 616. Agreed to be together, meet the parents, guests from afar. _3. "It's Daya," Shangguan Dehui answered. Upon hearing this, a momentary silence filled the air. After a short pause, Lady Shangguan asked, "Dehui, you're not joking with me, are you?" Years ago, Shangguan Dehui had been driven to the brink of madness in his search for Daya, his love at first sight. It was only after Lady Shangguan stepped in, threatening Shangguan Dehui with her life, that he finally agreed to marry Su Fun, who was from a family of equal social standing. After his marriage, Shangguan Dehui had completely changed. Withdrawing his wild habits, he devoted himself to his studies and successfully completed his postgraduate and doctoral studies, even becoming a professor. So, Lady Shangguan had no particular fondness for Daya, whom she had never met. If it hadn't been for Daya, they, mother and son, might have been driven to a complete break. For a moment, Lady Shangguan even believed that Shangguan Dehui was purposely trying to provoke her. "I have indeed found Daya," Shangguan Dehui said with a serious expression. Lady Shangguan put down her chopsticks. "Even if you have found Daya, so many years have passed. She's probably married by now. You're not considering breaking up her family, are you?" "Absolutely not. I won't allow it. The Shangguan family is prestigious. Shangguan Dehui is the head of the family, and he can't possibly consider breaking up someone else's family." "Mother, don't worry. Like me, Daya is currently single," Shangguan Dehui replied. Go to Wuxia World. Site really? Lady Shangguan expressed her doubt. Really? Shangguan Dehui nodded. So, what's her current situation? Shangguan Dehui went on to say, her name's Ni Zihua. She's 37 this year. She divorced her husband a year ago and is now raising 2 children. The elder daughter is 18 years old, the younger is 1 year and 5 months. The younger daughter is that young. So, does she have any connection left with her husband? Lady Shangguan continued to question. You don't need to worry about that. There is no contact between them at all, Shangguan Dehui replied. Lady Shangguan kept her opinions to herself for the time being. What about her family? What do they do? Their background is very clean. They are farmers by birth and are now running their own business in the city. In this era, being a farmer is the most transparent background. And Lady Shangguan doesn't have any prejudice towards those who run their own business. As long they earn their living honestly and don't indulge in theft or robbery, there's nothing disgraceful about it. Living by their own means is excellent. I just don't know whether Xiaoxiu and Xiaoxi would accept a sister who is 20 years younger than them. The main issue is that the child is too young. That means Ni Zuihua was already divorced from her husband while still in confinement. What on earth must have happened in a family to make a woman decide to divorce while she was still in confinement? And Ni Zuihua is a woman from the countryside. Shangguan Dehui added, Xiaoxiu and Xiaoxi are good children. You don't have to worry about them. When did you meet Daya? Lady Shangguan continued her inquiry. A little over a month ago on the mountain trip. Daya was the one who saved me. What? The words took Lady Shangguan by surprise. Yes, she was the one who saved me, Shangguan Dehui nodded and confirmed. Lady Shangguan said, if that's the case, I won't interfere with your relationship anymore. When you have the time, bring her home so that we can all have a look at her. If she's suitable, you should set the wedding date as soon as possible. Both of you are not getting any younger. Children and grandchildren have their own karma. If she interfered too much, she would only become annoying. As long as the woman's character is better than Lin Fang's, that's good enough. She had already had a fight with Shangguan Dehui over Daya once before. If she made a fuss about it again, she was afraid she might completely lose this son of hers. Shangguan Dehui nodded. All right. I'll discuss it with her. After Ni Zuihua returned, she immediately told Ni Yang about the proposal. Upon hearing this, Ni Yang hugged Ni Zuihua. Mom, I want you to be happy. If Uncle Shangguan can bring you happiness, then I will support your relationship. Yang, Ni Zuihua hugged Ni Yang, choking with emotion. Thank you. It must have been the good deeds of her past life that allowed her to have such an understanding daughter like Ni Yang. At dinner, Ni Chengge, who was sitting beside Ni Zuihua, was the first to notice the diamond ring on her hand. Mother Ni, are you going to have a good news soon? A blush crawled onto Ni Quihua's face. Sister Cheng, Ni Chengge laughed and said, what's so embarrassing about getting married? It's a normal thing. When are you planning to hold the wedding banquet? Chapter 617. Agreed to be together, visiting parents, guests who have come from afar. _4. At this, Ni Zuihua became even more embarrassed. Ni Chengge then said, Yang Yang's mom, honestly, you and Shangguan Dehui are perfect for each other. I've known for a long time that you two would get together one day. Perhaps it was truly fate. The first time she saw Shangguan Dehui, she felt he and Ni Zuihua inexplicably matched very well. Ni Zuihua said, Sister Chengge, if you come across someone suitable, you can also. Ni Chengge took a sip of her soup. I haven't encountered anyone suitable, right? If there is someone suitable around you, you could also introduce me. She truly considered Ni Zuihua as a sister, so her words were heartfelt. Ni Zuihua nodded in agreement. The Shangguan family. The old lady Shangguan was watering the flowers in the garden. Shangguan Furong came over, taking the watering can from her mother's hand. Mom, what's the matter with you today? In a bad mood? No. Old lady Shangguan shook her head in denial. Shangguan Furong continued, are you worried about my brother's situation? Go to Wuxia World. Sight as soon as the words fell, Shangguan Furong added, Mom, Actually, Lin Fong is really nice. The incident last time was just a misunderstanding. Why must you stick to it? My brother finally found someone he likes. Why break them up? These days, Shangguan Farong had met with Lin Fong quite a few times. Her impression of Lin Fong and her daughter was actually quite good. The key was Lin Fong was easy to handle and presentable. She won't bring disgrace to the Shangguan family, nor disgrace to her. Old Lady Shangguan glanced at Shangguan Farong. You should stop thinking about Lin Fong. Why? Old Lady Shangguan said, because your brother already has someone. Shangguan Farong was so startled that the watering can dropped from her hand. Mom, you're not joking with me, right? My brother has someone so quickly? Who introduced them? How come I didn't hear a thing? When introducing Lin Fong to Shangguan Dehui, Old Lady Shangguan had once asked for her opinion. Now this was great. She was completely bypassed. This made Shangguan Farong feel somewhat unable to cope, temporarily. Old Lady Shangguan laughed. Not just you. I also found out yesterday. Shangguan Farong went on to ask, who is she? Do I know her? What's her family's situation? It's Daya. Old Lady Shangguan turned to look at Shangguan Farong. Farong, Daya has returned. Daya? Shangguan Farong asked in disbelief. Mom, is it that Daya? Old Lady Shangguan nodded. Daya had actually returned. After so many years. Shangguan Farong never dreamed that she would actually see the woman of Shangguan Dihui's dreams, whom he yearned for day and night. Since Daya is back, does that mean Lin Fong has no hope? Shangguan Farong asked. Even if Daya didn't come back, Lin Fong would have no hope. Old Lady Shangguan answered, Farong, if you have time, you should pay more attention to Ziqing and Zijuan. Ziqing and Zijuan are the children of Shangguan Farong. Old Lady Shangguan's words were hinting that Shangguan Farong had overstepped her boundaries, but Shangguan Farong was too overwhelmed by the surprise to detect the secondary meaning in Old Lady Shangguan's words. Mom, don't worry, Ziqing and Zijuan are behaving well, said Shangguan Farong. By the way, Mom, what is Daya doing now? If her memory serves her right, Daya was just a simple country girl all those years ago. Old Lady Shangguan said tersely, she divorced her husband over a year ago and is now raising 2 children. The eldest is 18, the youngest is 1 year and 5 months old. According to Dehui, she seems to be running a business in the city. Since she had agreed to their union, everything else she said now was unnecessary. This news made Shangguan Farong explode in shock. What? She has 2 kids? And she is a small business owner. My goodness! Has my brother gone mad? Shangguan Farong is utterly conscious of her face. The fact that her brother's wife is less than reputable caused her extreme discomfort. A small business owner? Doesn't being a small business owner tarnish her glossy image? What's wrong with being a small business owner? Small business owners also make a living by their own efforts. Farong, it's disappointing for someone who has received higher education to have such low level of awareness. And also, children are not burdens. If children are burdens, then what are Xiaoxiu and Xiaoxi? Although Old Lady Shangguan had her reservations about Daya, she made distinctions clear. She did not have anything against the profession of small business owners. Chapter 6:18. Agreed to be together, visiting parents, guests who have come from afar. _5. Self-employed people earn their living with their own skills. They should not be underestimated. When it came to this point, Old Lady Shangguan continued, the last time your brother went on a mountain trip and encountered danger, it was Daya who saved him. Farong, we Shangguan family members should learn to repay kindness. Repaying kindness means pushing my brother out, Shangguan Farong retorted. This is your brother's own decision, retorted Old Lady Shangguan. Mom, don't you dislike Daya either? Why suddenly agree to this? Shangguan Farong continued to question. Old Lady Shangguan had never met Daya before. But considering the big fuss back then, it would be strange if Old Lady Shangguan actually liked Daya. She remembered a phrase that Old Lady Shangguan used to utter, a pretty woman often makes trouble. Old Lady Shangguan said, forget the past. Moreover, it's Daya who will live with your brother, not me. Why should I step in? She's already in her later years, how many more can she live? Let the young handle their own affairs. Shangguan Furong continued, but we can't leave matters at that. My brother is your own son. How can you watch him sink into a quagmire? I think Daya is not a good woman. A good woman wouldn't casually divorce her husband. And she even wants us to support her two burdens. How calculating she is. And besides, nothing is as simple as it seems. When my brother went mountain traveling, how could Daya just happen to rescue him? This could be a trap set up by her. Go to Wuxia World. Sight, she's so scheming. Shangguan Furong's teeth itched from hatred. She had seen too many shameless, scheming women. From Daya's actions, it was clear to her that Daya was one of them. Old Lady Shangguan remained calm. Your brother isn't a fool, he can distinguish good from bad. Don't interfere in this matter. It will only upset your brother. Shangguan Dui wasn't a fool. She hadn't met Daya in person yet and couldn't make assumptions. Just because she disliked Daya a little, it didn't mean she could simply speculate that Daya was a bad person. Shangguan Furong's face darkened. My brother is bewitched by that woman, there's no way he can see clearly. Old Lady Shangguan said, hold your tongue. Other families' sisters-in-law promote harmony, but you love stirring up trouble. Can't you behave a little? Your brother is determined to bring her over. Be careful with your words and actions then. The last sentence carried a hint of a warning. When are they coming over? Shangguan Furong's eyes flickered. Probably next Sunday. Shangguan Furong held onto Old Lady Shangguan's arm. Mom, at your age and with distinguished guests on the way, let me handle the arrangements. Furong, what are you up to now? Old Lady Shangguan looked at Shangguan Furong. Smiling, Shangguan Furong said, Mom, what can I do? What else can I do? I just want to receive the guests properly. We just hired some chefs from F country recently. Let them prepare authentic dishes from F country. Daya is just a country bumpkin who hasn't seen the world. She probably wouldn't even know how to use a knife and fork. Even if Shangguan Furong doesn't lift a finger, she can make that yokel retreat. As long as Shangguan Furong doesn't go too far, Old Lady Shangguan won't intervene. The next day, Old Lady Shangguan came for noodles as usual. Though she was preoccupied, the noodles were still delicious. In fact, she came not only for the noodles but also to see Ni Yang and chat with him. She truly likes Ni Yang. Unfortunately, Ni Yang didn't come to the shop today. In fact, Ni Yang hadn't been in the shop for a long time, when she was finished with the noodles and aimlessly walking on the street. Just then, a bicycle pulled up next to her. Old Lady. Yang Yang. Old Lady Shangguan's face lit up. Yang Yang, where are you going? Ni Yang gave a slight smile. I just came back from the bank and am going to window shop. I plan to buy a dress for my mom. Since he was about to visit the Shangguan family, Ni Yang decided to buy a nice dress for Ni Tsuehua. Chapter 619. Agreed to be together, visiting parents, guests who have come from afar. _6. Excitedly, Mrs. Shangguan said, I need to buy some clothes too. Let's go together. Sure. Ni Yang nodded. Ni Yang pushed the cart with Mrs. Shangguan walking alongside her. With concern, Ni Yang said, Ma'am, you looked a bit off color earlier. Have you been worried about something lately? Laughing, Mrs. Shangguan shook her head. What could I possibly worry about? It's just that I've been having some trouble sleeping recently. And there was a bit of anxiety. She was worried that Daya would bring trouble to the Shangguan family for not having good character. After all, what Shangguan Furong said made sense. Why would the person who saved them become Daya? Hearing this, Ni Yang pulled out a blue pill bottle from her bag. I have these calming pills. Just smell them before you sleep and you'll fall asleep immediately, without any dreams. You should try it. Really? Mrs. Shangguan was a bit surprised. Of course. Ni Yang nodded and said with a smile, Don't you always call me divine doctor? Would I ever deceive you? Yang Yang, thank you. What a good child Yang Yang is. Why couldn't she be her granddaughter? You're welcome. Go to Wuxia World. Sight the two arrived at Clothing City. Ni Yang first selected an outfit for Mrs. Shangguan, then picked a trendy but elegant and dignified outfit for Ni Tsuehua. which suits her temperament perfectly. After all, it's their first meeting, she should make a good impression on the elders. Yang, is this outfit for your mom? Mrs. Shangguan asked. Yes. Yang nodded. From the outfit that Yang picked, it's clear that her mom must also be a beauty with great temperament, and most importantly, she must have a good character to raise such an excellent daughter as Yang. The best daughter-in-law and granddaughter always belong to other people's families. Your mom is really lucky to have such a filial daughter like you. Mrs. Shangguan sighed. With a slight smile, Yang said, My mom gave me life. Without her there's no me. It's only right that I should be filial to her. Filial piety is the most important of all virtues. Mrs. Shangguan nodded. She looked at Yang with full admiration. What good upbringing! Yang's upbringing is really good. After buying the clothes, the two left Clothing City. They happened to run into a middle-aged woman taking her 2 kids out. Stop crying. You're bringing us bad luck. Your younger brother is smaller than you, can't you give him a break? The girl was probably around 10 years old, and the boy was around 7 or 8. I want new clothes too. The middle-aged woman said, When your sister can't wear her clothes anymore, then you can. While rubbing her eyes, the little girl said, Why does my brother get new clothes? Why doesn't my brother have to wear other people's old clothes? Because he's your younger brother. And you're his elder sister. The middle-aged woman said fiercely, You're so big now and still don't understand anything. If you keep this up, watch out, I will hit you. Mom, I want to eat candied hawthorn. The little boy tugged at the middle-aged woman's hand. The woman's expression softened instantly. All right. Mom will buy it for you. The little girl looked at the boy enviously, but her mother didn't spare her another glance in the end. Watching this scene, Mrs. Shangguan slightly furrowed her brows. Daya wouldn't be that kind of person, would she? Last time when she came to Clothing City, she saw Lin Fang's true colors. Could what she's seeing now be Daya? Mrs. Shangguan was a bit frightened. She had even forgotten that Daya had 2 daughters. With a heavy heart, Mrs. Shangguan returned home. The Ni family. As soon as Yang left, a blonde, blue-eyed foreigner arrived at their home. Due to the language barrier, she took quite some time to find Yang's house. The villagers had never seen a foreigner, so now they all gathered in front of the courtyard of Ni's house to watch the excitement. Yang Yang's mom, come out. Someone's looking for your daughter Yang. The visitor was none other than Emily's mother, Anne. Although Annie could not speak Chinese, she had the note given to her by Yang. By showing the note to everyone, they all understood. Here we are. Cuihua came out from the inner room with Xiaoni. Seeing that it was the blonde-haired, blue-eyed Annie, she was a little taken aback. Hello, is Yang at home? Cuihua was startled at first, then she realized that she could actually understand what Annie was saying. It seemed that her recent study of English was not for nothing. Although Cuihua could understand, the villagers couldn't, so they were all guessing what Annie was saying. Chapter 6:20. Agreed to be together, visiting parents, guests who have come from afar. _7 Engaging in conversation with a person from M country for the first time, Cuihua was slightly nervous. She swallowed and said, Hello. I am Yang's mother. Do you need Yang for something? Upon hearing this, Annie was thrilled. She had finally met someone who spoke English. The villagers who were watching from the side were also stunned. No one expected that Cuihua could speak English. Yang's mom is amazing. Yang's mom is really hiding her skills. Oh my God. Yang's mom speaks English so well. Humph. As if you could understand a word of it. The crowd murmured in awe of Cuihua. Annie grabbed Cuihua's hand. Oh my God. You're Yang's mother? I finally found you. Is Yang at home? Yang is not at home right now. Why don't you come in and have a seat? As she finished, Cuihua looked around at the other people and switched back to Chinese. All of you come in and have a seat. The crowd declined politely with laughter. They still had work at home. Go to Wuxia World. Sight they were just there to join in the fun, they didn't dare to stay too long. Accompanied by Ni, Annie entered the confines of the Ni family household, exclaiming, "What a beautiful yard! Does Ni Yang live here?" Although they had not moved to the new place next door yet, Ni Yang kept Ni Chenggui's yard tidy and looking very nice. Flowers were planted in the yard, and there were stone tables and seats under the osmanthus tree, painting a picturesque scene. Ni nodded, made tea, and brought out some snacks for Annie. This was the first time Annie tasted such delicious Chinese food, and drank such fragrant tea. People in M country know very well how to enjoy life and love drinking tea. However, their tea, mostly black tea, is very different from Chinese tea and doesn't taste as good. After all, the Chinese tea ceremony has been passed down for thousands of years. Many say that the Chinese are very barbaric, but the Chinese she met on this trip were all very warm and not as barbaric as rumored. Furthermore, China is developing well, not as backward as she had imagined. Overall, Annie had a very good impression of China. Before long, Ni Yang returned. Annie had seen Ni Yang's photos in Emily's camera before. Upon seeing Ni Yang, she rose from her seat excitedly and said with enthusiasm, "Hello, Ni Yang." Ni Yang remained calm. "I apologize, but may I know who you are?" She felt like she had seen Emily somewhere before, but couldn't recall where. Annie continued, "My name is Annie. I am Emily's mother." Then Ni Yang remembered. Emily looked very similar to Annie. No wonder Annie looked familiar. "Hello, Auntie. Is Emily with you?" Annie shook her head. "No. She didn't come with me. I came alone." Annie would have come earlier, but some matters delayed her, so she only came now. Annie then continued to ask, "Ni Yang, are you the producer of Ice Jade Skin?" "Yes." Ni Yang nodded slightly. Annie excitedly said, "Ni Yang, the effect of your Ice Jade Skin is really good. My friends and I all like to use it very much. Can you sell me a few more sets?" Ni Yang didn't expect Annie to come to buy Ice Jade Skin. This was a surprise. Seems like she didn't give the Ice Jade Skin to the wrong person last time. Ni Yang smiled and said, "Of course. By the way, our factory is just nearby. Would you like me to take you for a visit?" "Really?" Annie was a bit surprised. She just came to buy Ice Jade Skin and didn't expect to have a chance to visit the factory. Ni Yang nodded slightly and made a pleased gesture. "Please follow me." The factory was 2 rows of low buildings, built behind their new house, but currently 1 row was still vacant. The production line was small but very organized. Workers wore sterilized suits and gloves. Disinfecting was necessary when entering and leaving the workshop. Including Ni Yang and Annie, everyone had to put on the sterilized suits before they enter. The workshop had only a dozen workers before, but now it had expanded to 20. The daily production volume was around 6,000 bottles. Ni Yang introduced everything to Annie in fluent English. Annie was stunned. She could hardly believe that China's technology had reached such an incredible level. After leaving the factory, Annie suddenly had an audacious idea. Chapter 621. Agreed to be together, visiting parents, guests who have come from afar. _8 She wants to distribute Ni Yang's products. She plans to introduce Bing Jiu Fu to M country. Such an excellent product would surely be welcomed with open arms in M country. Yet, she still needs to test the market back home. If successful, she would discuss possible cooperation with Ni Yang. With this in mind, Annie proposed, "Ni Yang, could you sell me 30 of these gift box sets?" Upon arriving in China, Annie conducted a small survey and found out that the gift box version of Bing Jiu Fu was a limited edition. Each store could only have a maximum of 200 boxes per month, far below the demand. Therefore, she felt somewhat apprehensive when suggesting buying 30 boxes. Though Bing Jiu Fu was a limited edition, it wouldn't impact the domestic market as Annie intended to introduce it to M country. Additionally, Ni Yang intended to bring Bing Jiu Fu to an overseas market, so he agreed and said, "Sure. That's wonderful." Annie excitedly embraced Ni Yang. "Thank you." The gift box version of Bing Jiu Fu was priced at 268 yuan, about $40, per set. 30 of these sets would cost 8,040 yuan, about $1,220. Because Annie had traveled from afar, Ni Yang even gave her a 10% discount, assuring her that all her future purchases would come with this discount. Of course, Annie was thrilled to enjoy these savings, considering even money couldn't guarantee you this part. Having received her 30 Bing Gu Fu sets, Annie returned to her country on the overnight flight. Source: updated on Wuxia World. C0 Ni Yang had a free day today and got up early to accompany Ni Cuihua to visit the Shangguan family. Soon after they finished breakfast, Shangguan Dehui came to pick them up. Although Ni Cuihua had already been married once, she couldn't help but feel nervous. She had all sorts of worries. Worrying about meeting a terrible mother-in-law like Mrs. Mu. Furthermore, Shangguan Dehui had a son and a daughter. Would his kids accept her? Could they peacefully coexist with Ni Yang and little Ni Yun? Ni Yang held Ni Cuihua's hand and whispered, "Mom, don't worry. Uncle Shangguan is a good man. His family can't be too bad." Ni Cuihua nodded. Reassured by Ni Yang, Ni Cuihua immediately felt more relaxed. At the Shangguan residence, Shangguan Su and Shangguan Shi were sitting on the couch. Su Lian and Mrs. Shangguan were chatting. Shangguan Farong was teasing her pet pug. Shangguan Shi looked curiously at Shangguan Farong. "Aunt, have you met Aunt Daya? How is she?" Shangguan Farong smiled. "If your father has taken a liking to her, she can't be bad." She was ready for anything, even if it meant becoming a laughingstock. How absurd, a country bumpkin also thinks she can join the Shangguan family. Shangguan Shi nodded. "Oh." Shangguan Farong continued, "I heard that your Aunt Daya has a 1-year-old child. Are you excited or not, Shi, about having a little sister? A 1-year-old baby must be cute." Shangguan Shi loved children. "My good friend has a 1-year-old sister too, and she's so adorable." Shangguan Shi was talking about little Ni Yun. She had seen little Ni Yun at Ni Yang's noodle shop and really liked her. Shangguan Farong went on vibrantly, "Your Aunt Daya is from the countryside. How could she compare with your friend? Have you seen rural children before? Dark and crying frequently, always drooling, with bubbly snot on their noses. How many rural kids can be good-looking?" Shangguan Shi felt shivers down her spine listening to this. "Ah? Really? Of course, aren't all rural children like that?" Shangguan Farong continued, "Just let me tell you, Shi, you have to be mentally prepared. You can't dislike your Aunt Daya and future little sister, or else your father will definitely be angry at you." Chapter 622. Slapping Shangguan Farong _1 Shangguan Shi initially held great expectations for Daya, whom she had not yet met, and her future little sister. Being told this by Shangguan Farong, her heart ached terribly. She was a little bit of a neat freak. "Aunt, I think you might be exaggerating a bit?" Shangguan Shi frowned slightly. Shangguan Farong chuckled. "Exaggerating? Wait until you see her in person. Not everyone can be like your Aunt Lin Fong. Beautiful with a career. I'm just giving you a heads up, so you will be prepared. To save you from shocking our esteemed guest later." Su Lian was drinking her tea. Upon hearing this, she set down her cup and chimed in. "You can't judge a book by its cover. Lin Fong may shine, but her character is lacking. True beauty lies within the soul. Xiaoxi, don't overthink things, you should trust your father's tastes." Su Lian was also curious as to what kind of woman this Daya was that Shangguan Dehui would pine for her for so long. Back when her sister Su Fan married Shangguan Dehui, Su Lian was completely against it. Because Shangguan Dehui did not love Su Fan. But the younger Su Lian had fallen in love with Shangguan Dehui at first sight and was determined to marry only him. Because of pressure from Lady Shangguan, Shangguan Dehui was reluctantly forced to marry Su Fan. Fortunately, after their marriage, Shangguan Dehui changed for the better. Their marital life was harmonious. Sadly, Su Fan was not fortunate. 2 years after being married to Shangguan Dehui, she passed away. Since then Shangguan Dehui never remarried. Source: updated on Wuxia World. S0 Su Lian knows that Shangguan Dehui still had Daya in his heart. But she never blamed Shangguan Dehui. Because Shangguan Dehui had fulfilled his responsibility towards Su Fan and raised their 2 children to adulthood. It was about time he found his own happiness. After so many years, it was fate that Shangguan Dehui and Daya could meet again. If not, it would imply that Daya was a rather scheming person. Otherwise, they wouldn't have encountered each other again after so many years. As aunt of Shangguan Su and Shangguan Shi, Su Lian would never allow a cunning woman to become their stepmother. But she has not met Daya yet, so it wasn't right to jump to conclusions. Hearing Su Lian speak like this, Shangguan Shi felt a little better, but she was still nervous. If her little sister turned out to be a sloppy kid with a runny nose hanging from her face, she really couldn't stand it. Shangguan Ferong laughed and said, "Sister Su Lian, you are right, inner beauty is the most beautiful. Daya's heart must be beautiful, otherwise, my brother would not have liked her. After all, my brother is a college professor, and Daya is an illiterate peasant woman who's been herding cattle since she was a child, yet has 2 children of her own. The youngest one had been divorced while she was still in her confinement period after childbirth. Such a person must have a beautiful soul." These words seemed to praise Daya. In fact, they were derogatory. How could a good woman be divorced from her husband during her confinement period? How could an illiterate rural woman be worthy of her brother? After speaking, Shangguan Ferong turned to Shangguan Shi. "Xiaoxi, you young people always value common language, don't you? I think your dad and your Aunt Daya must have a lot in common." Shangguan Shi opened her mouth, not knowing how to respond to Shangguan Ferong. The gap between Aunt Daya and her dad was too big. How could these 2 people possibly have a common language? That was terrifying. "Brother!" Shangguan Shi nudged Shangguan Su. He put down the newspaper in his hand. "What is it? What's your take on this?" "As long as Dad is happy. Of course, a good match is also important. He is a bank president. How could his mother be an illiterate who cannot appear in public? It wouldn't sound good if word got out. If Aunt Daya was really uncouth, he wouldn't mind if his father kept her on the side." At this, the worry in Shangguan Furong's heart subsided. It seemed that Shangguan Su also was not satisfied with this Daya. That was great. Lady Shangguan glanced at everyone. She had a plan in mind. The car was fast and soon arrived at the Shangguan residence. The Shangguan mansion was very luxurious, but it was nothing to Enai Zihua, who had seen private jets and castles in M country. If Enai Zihua were still the Enai Zihua who had just arrived in the city a year ago, she would have been stunned by now. Chapter 623, Slapping Shangguan Ferong _2. But now, Enai Zihua, beautiful and gracious, her whole body exuding a confident aura, stood with Shangguan Dehui, making Shangguan Dehui seem somewhat mature in comparison. So, broadening one's horizons is indeed a very important thing. Shangguan Dehui, with little Enai Yun in his arms, led Enai Zihua and Enai Yang towards the inside. They encountered many servants greeting them along the way. Although Enai Yang knew that Shangguan Dehui was not an ordinary person, she never thought that the Shangguan family was that rich. They crossed the magnificent front hall and arrived in the living room. As soon as they heard footsteps, the others in the living room seemed somewhat impatient. However, Shangguan Ferong was exceptionally calm, petting the pug in her arms with a smile at the corner of her mouth. That Daya is a coarse and vulgar rural woman, wasn't she? Why should they have any expectations for her? Shangguan Su was also calm, flipping through the newspaper in his hand with a half-hearted expression on his face. "This way," Shangguan Dehui motioned with one hand while holding little Enai Yun. Enai Zihua and Enai Yang followed him in. Seeing Enai Yang enter, both Madame Shangguan and Shangguan Shi were stunned. Source: updated on Wuxia World. So was Enai Yang here too? They were taken aback for a moment, until Shangguan Dehui said, "Mom, Sister, Ferong, Xiaoshu, Xiaoxi, this is Daya. This is Daya's daughter Enai Yang, and this is Daya's youngest daughter Enai Yun." Upon hearing the name Enai Yang, Shangguan Su froze. Was he hallucinating? He looked up and was even more astonished. He never expected that Enai Yang was Daya's daughter. Was he dreaming? Similarly, Madame Shangguan and Shangguan Shi were stunned too. Oh my God! Oh my God! What was going on? Yang, you are Aunt Daya's daughter? Shangguan Shi stood up, walked over to Enai Yang and held her hand. "Cici?" and I Yang was also very surprised. Sheng Guanxi laughed and said, "He's my dad." And I Yang had never imagined that Sheng Guan Dehui and Sheng Guanxi were father and daughter. By this logic, Madame Sheng Guan and Sheng Guan Dehui were mother and son. This was too much of a coincidence. Madame Sheng Guan also stood up from her surprise. "Yang Yang." "Madam." And I Yang greeted with a smile. Madame Sheng Guan laughed and said, "What, madam? Too formal. You should call me grandma." She had always wanted a granddaughter as sensible and capable as Ni Yang, and she hadn't expected her dream to become a reality today. Sheng Guan Dehui looked at Sheng Guanxi and Madame Sheng Guan, then at Ni Yang, and said incredulously, "Mom, Sisi, you know Yang Yang?" Madame Sheng Guan nodded repeatedly. "We do know each other. Not only that, but Yang Yang also saved me." Sheng Guan Dehui was somewhat confused about what was going on. Madame Sheng Guan explained what happened the day she fainted on the streets of Beijing. "So the person who saved my mom was you, Yang. Thank you so much." Madame Sheng Guan was old, and her heart wasn't very good either. If Ni Yang hadn't come to rescue her in time, they probably wouldn't be seeing Madame Sheng Guan by now. Sheng Guan Dehui had initially been worried about whether Madame Sheng Guan and Ni Yang and her mother could accept each other, but he hadn't expected that they already had this connection. "Dehui, is this Daya?" Madame Sheng Guan looked at Ni Dehua, next to Sheng Guan Dehui. Ni Tsuehua smiled and said, "Auntie, I am Daya." Ni Tsuehua was not as Madame Sheng Guan had imagined her. Madame Sheng Guan thought Daya should be a heavily made-up vixen, otherwise she wouldn't have occupied Sheng Guan Dehui's thoughts for so long. But the Daya in front of her was elegant and dignified, beautiful with her own aura, and Madame Sheng Guan liked her at once. No wonder Ni Yang was so beautiful. She had a beautiful mother. And Ni Yang was so outstanding. If Ni Tsuehua were a person of poor character, she wouldn't have raised Ni Yang so well. For a moment, Madame Sheng Guan was delighted with Ni Tsuehua. "Good, good." Madame Sheng Guan held Ni Kuihua's hand. "Come sit here, this must be little Yun Yun, right? Come, let me hold her. Ah, this child is so beautiful." Madame Sheng Guan took over little Ni Yun from Sheng Guan Dehui. "Yun Yun, call her grandma." Sheng Guan Dehui said. "Grandma." Little Ni Yun was very sweet and not fearful of strangers, which made Madame Sheng Guan very happy. Sheng Guan Farong watched the scene before her, suddenly bewildered. Chapter 624, Slapping Sheng Guan Farong _3. What just happened? Isn't it that Madame Sheng Guan doesn't like Daya? Why is she so warm toward Daya? And also, wasn't Daya just an unsophisticated hick? Why is she dressed so respectfully? The youngest child is also pleasantly chubby, and doesn't have snot bubbles on his nose like the typical rural kid. What on earth is going on? And Daya's oldest daughter, she is just too attractive. She doesn't look like she came from the countryside at all. The worst part is that all three of them do not show any kind of familiarity toward me. Not at all like Lin Fong, who came and showered me with extravagant gifts. If these three really become part of the family, will I still have a say in the Shengguan family? The more Shengguan Farong thinks about it, the more unhappy she becomes. Luckily, she has a backup plan. Source. Updated on. So it will be their turn to be embarrassed soon. Shengguan Dehui brought Ni Tsuehua to Su Lian and Shengguan Farong. "Daya, let me introduce you, this is my sister, also the aunt of Xiaoshu and Xiaoxi, and this is my sister Farong." Ni Tsuehua has known of the existence of Su Lian for quite some time, so she wasn't surprised. The fact that Shengguan Dehui has cherished and respected Su Lian for so long after the death of his first wife just proves that Shengguan Dehui is a good man, compassionate and righteous. Sister Farong. Su Lian's first impression of Ni Tsuehua was quite positive. Unlike the last time with Lin Fong, who clearly demonstrated her vulgar manners, Tsuehua maintained her elegant behavior as soon as she entered. There was absolutely nothing wrong with her conduct. "Daya, nice to meet you." Su Lian stood up and initiated a handshake with Ni Tsuehua. Although Shengguan Farong is indignant with Ni Tsuehua, she didn't like to embarrass people on the spot. Besides, this person is a woman who holds a special place in Shengguan Dehui's heart. Pissing off Shangguan Dehui directly wouldn't benefit her in any way. After all, she still has a trump card at hand. She can't wait to see this rustic woman be embarrassed. Hello. Shangguan Dehui then said, "This is my son Shangguan Su, this is my daughter Shangguan Shi. You can call them Xiaoshu and Xiaoxi." Shangguan Su and Shangguan Shi stood up from the sofa and greeted her proactively. "Hello, Aunt Daya." "Hello." Looking at Shangguan Su and Shangguan Shi, Shangguan Dehui said, "No need to introduce Yang Yang to you two, you already know each other." "No need, no need." Shangguan Shi interlaced her arm within Yang's, laughing, "Yang Yang and I are already acquainted. Yang, may I give you a tour around our house now?" Shangguan Shi was absolutely thrilled. She never thought that her future sister would be Ni Yang and little Ni Yun. This is a perfect example of birds of a feather flocking together. "Sure." Ni Yang nodded. "Brother, would you like to join us?" Shangguan Shi casually asked Shangguan Su. Unexpectedly, Shangguan Su actually put down the newspaper, saying, "Okay." Shangguan Shi was taken aback for a moment, but didn't say anything further. "Want sister?" Little Ni Yun reached out towards Ni Yang. "Would it be fine if sis Shi holds you?" Shangguan Shi reached out for little Ni Yun. Little Ni Yun seriously considered this, then nodded, "Okay." Yun Yun is such a good child. Shangguan Shi picked him up and planted a big kiss on his cheek. The group started to head towards the garden, and Madame Shangguan warned, "Shi, be careful when you play and don't let Yun Yun get hurt." "Got it, Grandma." Shangguan Farong, with an iron face, watched Shangguan Su and Shangguan Shi, her nephew and niece. Are they still her own flesh and blood? Being so kind to a stranger. Especially Shangguan Su, initially he was discontented with Daya and her family, but then his attitude changed just like that. Shangguan Su disappointed her big time. While the group was chatting, Su Lian laughed and said, "Daya, your skin is so well maintained. What skincare products do you use?" And Ai Tsuehua said, "I use Bing Jiu Fu at home." "Oh, I also brought a set for you and Farong." And Ai Tsuehua took out the gift boxes of Bing Jiu Fu products and handed them to Su Lian and Shangguan Farong. "Thank you." Su Lian accepted the gift box with both hands and gave an Ai Tsuehua a red envelope in return. And Ai Tsuehua immediately refused. Shangguan Dehui intervened at the side. "Since it's a gift from sister, you should accept it. It's not just a red envelope. It's also Su Lian's validation of Ai Tsuehua." Seeing Su Lian's satisfaction with Ai Tsuehua made Shangguan Dehui very happy. "Thank you, sister." Ai Tsuehua accepted the red envelope. Holding the gift box of Bing Jiu Fu in her hands, Shangguan Farong said, "I've been using Bing Jiu Fu's limited edition gift box recently and am their premium member. But how come I've never seen this packaging before? What's inside? Seaweed mask? Rose essential oil? I have never seen these products before." Chapter 625. Slapping Shangguan Farong _. Is this the genuine product? Can someone like Ai Tsuehua, a rural woman, afford ice skin jade complexion? Keep in mind, a set of genuine ice skin jade complexion costs over 200 yuan. I am not sure if Ai Tsuehua can even earn that much in a year. Ai Tsuehua explained with a smile, "This is a new model that was just released in September. It hasn't hit the market yet, and probably will be officially on sale in about 3 days. It's also a limited edition. Since it's a gift, it's natural to give something that people can't buy on the market, especially since their family is the manufacturer of ice skin jade complexion. To give common products as gifts wouldn't show sincerity. So, Ai Tsuehua chose the newly launched model. This new model contains high-grade rose essential oil, which is extremely valuable. Only 125 grams of rose essential oil can be extracted from a ton of roses. Therefore, this limited edition of ice skin jade complexion in new packaging is super expensive. Ni Yang's price is 580 yuan per set, and each store is limited to 30 sets per month. A new model released in September? Upon hearing this, Shangguan Farong had a mocking look in her eyes. This rural woman certainly knows how to boast. Source: updated on Wuxia World. She even tries to fool her with this counterfeit product. Does she think Shangguan Furong is some poor, gullible relative from the countryside? That's hilarious. Shangguan Furong placed the gift box on the coffee table. I dare not accept such a valuable gift. Moreover, my skin is very sensitive. I've heard that there are many counterfeits on the market now, and my skin is particularly prone to allergies, so please keep this ice skin jade complexion for yourself. And Ai Tsuehua responded with a faint smile. Don't worry, Furong, this is definitely the genuine product. Shangguan Furong replied, Daya, don't be offended by my frankness, but there are many swindlers these days. You are a country woman who just came to the city, so I'm worried you might have been conned. Furong. Madame Shangguan warned Furong with a look, then turned to Ai Tsuehua. Daya, don't listen to her nonsense. She's just not recognizing the value of a golden jade. If she doesn't want it, I'll take it. My skin could use some maintenance too. Daya, you wouldn't mind giving it to me, would you? Ai Tsuehua isn't silly, she knew that Shangguan Furong didn't like her. If Shangguan Furong chose to be ungrateful, then she shouldn't bother to be so eager to please her. Of course not. If Auntie likes it, then it's yours. Dehui brings out another red gift box. Mom, Daya also prepared a gift for you. What is it? Madame Shangguan took the box. Ai Tsuehua said, it's a wild ginseng. Yang Yang found it while picking herbs on the mountain. Yang Yang said that stewed soup with this wild ginseng can soothe the mind, calm the spirit, stop palpitations, exorcise evil, brighten eyes, and improve wisdom. It's particularly good for the elderly. Under Yang Yang's guidance, Ai Tsuehua had learned a little bit about medicine. Madame Shangguan was quite happy. Yang Yang is truly a good girl. Daya, you are lucky to have such an excellent granddaughter. That's also true for me, being so fortunate to have such an outstanding granddaughter. For Madame Shangguan, it was like a dream come true. On the side, Furong was so angry that she almost pulled out Peach Blossom's fur. In reaction to Furong's annoyance, Peach Blossom jumped off her and ran away without looking back. Her mother is really dense. How did she get tricked by a rural woman? Wild ginseng? To her eyes, it's just a white radish. If she has to accept this rustic woman as her sister-in-law, she would refuse even 100, 1,000, or 10,000 times over. Shangguan Furong covered her mouth, feigning surprise. One can dig wild ginseng on the mountain? Which mountain? Could you please tell me so I can also go and dig up a basket to give to others? Shangguan Furong indeed intended to embarrass Ai Tsuehua. Ai Tsuehua was just a country bumpkin. Furong was curious about how Ai Tsuehua would respond. Ai Tsuehua replied with a smile, ginseng is incredibly spiritual. Only those with pure intentions will find it. Also, they burrow down to escape when being dug up, so people often tie a red string around them before digging. It's not something anyone can just dig up. If you want to dig up a basketful, Furong, it might be a bit difficult. Shangguan Furong's face turned slightly white. She's a smart woman. How could she not understand the sarcasm in Ai Tsuehua's words? Chapter 626. Slapping Shangguan Furong understood 5. She underestimated this rural woman. What angered Shangguan Furong more was the attitude of Shangguan Dehui and the Shangguan matriarch. One was her real mother, and one was her real brother. They did nothing as they watched her being mocked. The Shangguan matriarch wasn't angry at all. In fact, she was delighted with Ai Tsuehua's response. As a daughter-in-law of the Shangguan family, she should indeed be more dominating. A submissive attitude was not in line with the Shangguan family's style. This was how she could shoulder the heavy responsibility of a household's matriarch. Excellent, excellent. She had misunderstood Daya before. Su Lian was also very pleased with Ai Tsuehua. Seeing that no one was coming to her aid, Shangguan Furong stood up from the couch. You guys chat, I'll check on the kitchen. Upon reaching the kitchen, Shangguan Furong specifically ordered the chef to change all of today's dining procedures to Western style. Source. Updated on. In the living room, Ai Tsuehua, the Shangguan matriarch, and Su Lian were chatting harmoniously. Their exchanges were barrier-free. Shangguan she took Ai Yang and little Ai Yun around the house. She had even figured out that she wanted to leave that room for Ni Yang and little Ni Yun as their bedroom. Although little Ni Yun was only 1 year old, she weighed 30 pounds because of her sufficient nutrition and was so chubby that her arms were ringed. Shangguan she couldn't carry her after a while, so she let Shangguan Su hold her. Luckily, little Ni Yun also liked this big brother very much. He carried little Ni Yun, running back and forth behind them. Maybe on account of being a leader for a long time, Shangguan Su was somewhat serious and didn't really like children, but today, he was amused by little Ni Yun several times. The truth was, Shangguan Su didn't want to laugh in his heart. But he couldn't help it. Lunch started punctually at 11:30. Shangguan Farong led everyone to the dining room with a beaming smile. The thought of Ni Cuihua making a fool of herself made her feel very delighted. "Come, Sister Daya, please have a seat." Shangguan Farong pulled Ni Cuihua to sit down. Shangguan she smiled and pulled out a chair for Ni Yang. "Come Yang, sit with me here. Let me hold Yunyun. Oh, how I love little Yunyun." The Shangguan matriarch took little Ni Yun from Ni Cuihua. After everyone was seated, the servants began to set the tableware. Soon after, the F country chef brought out the delicately cooked Western food. Shangguan Farong graciously tucked the napkin into her collar. "Sister Daya, this Western food was specially prepared to welcome you, made by the F country chef I invited to our home. Please, eat up, don't hesitate." As soon as she finished saying this, a servant put a bowl of lemon water in front of everyone, and the lemon water even had a few mint leaves floating in it. Shangguan Farong was waiting to see Ni Cuihua make a fool of herself. She wondered if Ni Cuihua would mistakenly drink this lemon water. Shangguan Farong had seen quite a few people ignorant of how to eat Western food and embarrass themselves in this way. If Ni Cuihua did the same today, her first time meeting the parents, the Shangguan matriarch would be furious. The future daughter-in-law of the Shangguan family, not knowing Western dining etiquette, and if this news got out, wouldn't it humiliate the Shangguan matriarch? At that time, Ni Cuihua would certainly be swept out of the door by the Shangguan matriarch. Just like the treatment of Lin Fong and her daughter. Knowing Shangguan Farong was waiting to see her make a fool of herself, Ni Cuihua was in no hurry. Coolly she tucked the napkin into her collar, then reached her hand into the silver bowl, slowly washing her hands. She had eaten so much Western food in M country and got sick of it. How could Ni Cuihua possibly not know Western dining etiquette? In addition to this, Ni Yang used to take her to various Japanese restaurants, Western-style restaurants, and H countries' cuisines when they were in their home country. After washing her hands, Ni Cuihua picked up the knife and fork, elegantly cut a small piece of steak, and put it in her mouth to chew slowly. The whole process was graceful and charming. How was this like a naive rustic woman? Shangguan Furong's smile became forced. Her carefully prepared F country banquet intended to make Ni Cuihua embarrass herself failed. Instead, Ni Cuihua was extremely graceful. Then look at Ni Yang. Even though she was young, her manner of eating was very appealing, even more generous than bona fide socialite. Each of her expressions seemed especially attractive. Sitting next to Shangguan Shi, who was born in an illustrious family, it made Shangguan Shi seem rather ordinary. Even little Ni Yun, who was only a year old, knew to hold a fork in her left hand and a knife in her right hand. A group of country folks, how did they learn to eat Western food? Watching all this transpire before her eyes, Shangguan Farong suddenly felt like she had shot herself in the foot. Chapter 627. Slapping Shangguan Farong _6. It's so unbearable. It's just too unbearable. Shangguan Farong squinted her eyes. No, this won't do. She couldn't just give up this easily, so what if Ni Cuihua has had Western food? Has she ever eaten snails? Snails require special tools to eat. You can't just take the meat out with a fork and knife. Shangguan Farong composed herself and pushed the plate of agate snails towards Ni Cuihua. This steak is not seasoned well enough. Daya, try these snails. Generally, country folks haven't eaten snails. Perhaps Ni Cuihua will be taken aback. Ni Cuihua smiled slightly, put down her fork and knife, picked up the special utensil for eating snails, elegantly picked up a snail, removed the meat from the shell, cut it piece by piece, dipped a tiny bit of wasabi on it, and put it in her mouth. The taste is quite good. Shangguan Furong was completely defeated this time. She sat in the chair, face pale as a sheet. After finishing the meal and staying at the Shangguan family's house for a while, Nai Tsuehua proposed to leave in the afternoon. It wasn't good to stay too long on the first day of visiting the Shangguan family. Source: updated on NOVG0. C0, ah? You are leaving already? Shangguan's old madam, holding little Nai Yun, said unwillingly. Nai Tsuehua said, Auntie, it's getting late. We should go home. Don't forget to bring Xiaoxiu and Xiaoxi to our house when you have time. Shangguan's old madam nodded repeatedly, of course. Nai Tsuehua continued, and Sisters Su Lian and Sister Furong, you must remember to visit too. Even though Nai Tsuehua didn't like Shangguan Furong much, she had to be courteous at appropriate times. In the end, apart from Shangguan Furong, everyone in the Shangguan family was very nice. Su Lian nodded with a smile, we will definitely disturb you at that time. Shangguan Dehui escorted Nai Tsuehua home. Watching their retreating figures, a gratified smile appeared on Shangguan's old madam's face. Shangguan Furong said, Mother, it seems you are quite satisfied with Daya? Shangguan's old madam replied with a beaming smile, Daya is beautiful, well-tempered, and filial. Of course, I am satisfied. I can't wait for your brother to marry her immediately. Shangguan Furong took a deep breath. Mother, don't you think Daya is very cunning? Shangguan's old madam shook her head. Furong, it's you who has a problem, so it seems to you that others have problems when you look at them. Daya is good, she's precisely the daughter-in-law I want. No, she's even better than that. The old lady now has no complaints about Nai Tsuehua. She even felt very fortunate that Shangguan Dehui could meet Nai Tsuehua within his lifetime. What about you? Xiaoxiu, Xiaoxi, do you like Daya too? Shangguan Furong turned her head to look at Shangguan Su and Shangguan Shi. Shangguan 11 said, Auntie Daya is a very nice person. Aunt Furong, how can you talk about her like that? Shangguan Su agreed with a nod. I also think Auntie Daya and Dad are a good match. Shangguan Furong continued, our Shangguan family is very wealthy. It's inevitable that some people with ulterior motives would deliberately get close to your dad, intending to seize the wealth of the Shangguan family. You two silly kids, don't be sold off by someone and even help them count the money. At the end, disappointment filled Shangguan Furong's face. I think Daya is not that kind of person. Su Lian said, the eyes are the window to the soul, there is no greed in Daya's eyes. Shangguan Shi laughed and held Shangguan Furong's hand. Aunt is right. Aunt Furong, you can relax. I've known Yang Yang for a long time now. I believe they are not that kind of people. Being sisters with Nai Yang is truly her honor. Shangguan Furong felt that Su Lian came intentionally to stir up trouble. Lin Fang was so outstanding, yet she didn't approve, instead favoring a rural woman. Shangguan Furong looked at Shangguan Su. Xiaoxiu, didn't you say before that the person who is with your dad should be from a well-matched family? Daya is just a small-time noodle seller. Do you think she is good enough for your dad? Shangguan Su frowned. Aunt, you must be mistaken. I remember saying that I respect my dad's choices. And being a small business owner doesn't mean she's unworthy. I believe we should not discriminate against different professions. Shangguan Su spoke resolutely, as if he wasn't the one who disdained Daya as a coarse and uncultured rural woman in the morning. Shangguan Furong was shaking with anger. She had only the family's best interest in mind, but no one in the family understood her. Chapter 628. Slapping Shangguan Furong under 7. Even good intentions are treated with contempt. Lady Shangguan looked at Shangguan Furong. Furong, come with me for a moment. A light flickered in Shangguan Furong's eyes. It was clear that Lady Shangguan had something to say to her, but the presence of many people made it difficult for her to speak. Perhaps she too dislikes Daya. Her behavior just now was probably just a pretense. Shangguan Furong followed Lady Shangguan's footsteps, filled with joy. The two of them entered the study. Furong, you dislike Daya, don't you? You feel that she doesn't take you seriously? Lady Shangguan was her mother and knew her better than anyone else. Shangguan Furong was simply too dominant, wanting to take charge of everything herself. Even after her marriage, she still wanted to meddle with her family's affairs. If her sister-in-law were sharper and more capable than she, then she would become uncomfortable and feel as though she had lost her place at home. Not only did Shangguan Furong wish to control the affairs of her family, but she had also taken complete control of her husband's family. For instance, if she wanted her husband to wear a blue outfit that day, then he could not wear red. Source: updated on Wuxia World. So he must also like whatever food she enjoyed. If he liked a particular food and she didn't, she wouldn't even let him touch it. Both inside and outside the house, everything was well organized under her arrangement. Anyone who dared to defy her would immediately be met with a change of her face. She had a good heart, but was too domineering in dealing with matters, sometimes to an extreme extent. Shangguan Furong declared, "She has never taken me seriously in the first place. Respect is mutual. You have never shown her respect, so how can you expect her to respect you?" Lady Shangguan retorted. Shangguan Furong retorted, "Mom, after all, am I your daughter or is she your daughter?" Anai Hua was nothing more than a village woman. The fact that she dignified herself to sit at the same table with Anai Hua for dinner was more than enough to give Anai Hua face. Lady Shangguan continued, "Furong, if you continue with this attitude, I'm going to say something unpleasant. You are a married woman. If you continue to stretch your hands this long, how can your brother live peacefully?" Shangguan Furong fell silent. "I just feel Daya is not good enough for my brother. She's also not good enough for our Shangguan family." Lady Shangguan persisted, "I think it is your brother who is not good enough for Daya." Shangguan Furong exclaimed in surprise, "Mother, have you gone mad? How could Shangguan Dehui be unworthy of a village woman?" Lady Shangguan replied, "I'm not mad. I'm clear-headed. Daya, including her daughter Yang Yang, are not ordinary people. They will certainly achieve great things in the future. Furong, sometimes birth doesn't mean everything. The fact that you are living this life today is simply because you were born in a better condition than Daya. If your birth conditions had been the same, you might not even be as good as Daya is now." Lady Shangguan was a person who could see far into the future. Through today's interaction with Anai Hua, she realized that Anai Hua was an outstanding person, whose progress had been hindered by the painful experiences of her early life. Now that she had moved out of that quagmire, her future would undoubtedly be bright. The fact that Shangguan Dehui could be with her was the fortune of both him and the Shangguan family. What a joke! How could I possibly be inferior to her? She had a postgraduate degree after all. Anai Hua, on the other hand, was illiterate. They were incomparable in terms of educational level alone. Seeing that her daughter was not open to communication, Lady Shangguan helplessly said, "Fine, you can go. The reason I called you here separately was to tell you that I have accepted Daya as my daughter-in-law. If you continue to give her trouble in the future, don't blame me for being ruthless." This was one of the few times Lady Shangguan spoke harshly to her, and it was for an outsider. Shangguan Furong felt a little uncomfortable. She murmured, "Then I'll leave first." How does she manage to be even worse than a country village woman? Wait a moment. The old Madame Shangguan called out to the retreating figure of Shangguan Furong. "What is it? Take this with you." The old Madame Shangguan pointed to the gift box of ice skin jade texture on the table. "It's Daya's heartfelt gesture after all." Shangguan Furong said, "Mom, do you still not understand why I don't like Daya? It's not only because of her lineage. It's also her behavior. It would have been fine if she had brought the Real ice skin jade texture. But she dared to try to trick me with counterfeit goods. Does she think I'm their poor rural relative?" The old Madame Shangguan laughed. "Daya is not the kind of person who would present false goods. Didn't she say it? This is Ice Skin Jade Texture's new product, which hasn't been released to the market yet." "A new product?" Shangguan Furong sneered. "Can an ignorant village woman even get a hold of such an unreleased new product? She probably thinks she's the founder of Ice Skin Jade Texture. This kind of trick can only fool you and Su Lian." Indeed, Shangguan Furong did not believe that the Ice Skin Jade Texture brought by Anai Hua was authentic. The old Madame Shangguan slightly frowned. That's enough. If you don't want it, fine. Don't just suspect others. To avoid disturbing Ni Zuehua and Shangguan De, Ni Yang decided to get off the car in the city center. She also had to go to school, because there was a Chinese exam in the afternoon. Shortly, only Ni Zuehua, little Ni Yun, and Shangguan Dehui were left in the car. Ni Zuehua, holding little Ni Yun, sat in the passenger seat. Shangguan Dehui reached out to touch Ni Kuihua's hand. Daya, Farong was pretty overbearing today. I'll talk to her when we get home, don't take it to heart. Ni Zuehua shook her head. It's okay. She didn't get the upper hand over me. Ni Zuehua was somewhat surprised Shangguan Dehui would actively address this issue. Normally in this situation, wouldn't an older brother instinctively defend his sister? But Shangguan Dehui didn't. Daya, thank you. Shangguan Dehui continued, Farong is strong-willed. If she does something wrong in the future, you don't need to consider my feelings. Say what needs to be said. She's the type who needs a scolding before she behaves. Ni Zuehua laughed. Whoever heard of a big brother talking about his sister this way? Shangguan Dehui squeezed Ni Kuihua's hand. I'm telling the truth. Do as I say and she won't dare to bully you. In a separate mansion in Beijing, a pale-faced man leaned on the bed, holding something shiny in his hand. Ziki, have you found out which family the car belongs to yet? No, Wang Ziki shook his head. The man clenched his hand, as if he was trying to crush the object he was holding. Wang Ziki continued, Sir Du, please don't worry. We just came from Shanghai to Beijing, and we're not very familiar with the forces here. I have already ordered a thorough investigation. As soon as we have any leads, I will inform you. Sir Du was a force to be reckoned with in Shanghai. But after all, this was Beijing. Sir Du looked up at Wang Ziki. Ziki, I trust you. Please don't let me down. Wang Ziki straightened up. Sir Du, I promise I won't let your trust down. Sir Du waved his hand. Okay, you can go. Then, please rest well. Wang Ziki turned and left. On the other hand, Shangguan Farong returned home in a gloomy mood. Just when a girlfriend came over for a chat, she was holding a flyer. Farong. Did you know Ice Skin Jade Texture has come out with a new product? It's going on sale this Monday. We must get there early. Chapter 629. Regret it now. _1 Shangguan Farong is a big fan of Ice Skin Jade beauty products. However, because many of their products are limited edition, she got herself a membership and opened a VIP service. Once you become a VIP client, whenever there are new products, the Ice Skin Jade Beauty headquarters will send promotional brochures to the VIP client in advance. Upon hearing this, Shangguan Farong expressed her surprise. Really? When did this happen? How come I didn't know? Look here, this is the promotional brochure they sent. Her friend handed her the flyer. Your mailbox should have one too, right? I'll check. Shangguan Farong went over to the mailbox and sure enough, she found the promotional brochure from Ice Skin Jade Beauty inside. Her friend continued, Farong, look, this new product includes rose essential oil. I specifically asked my aunt about it and she told me that rose essential oil is very rare. 1 ton of roses can only produce 100 grams of essential oil. Besides its beautifying effects, it also can calm premenstrual syndrome, regulate women's endocrine and menstrual cycles. The friend's name is Jiang Zhenzhen, who is also a die-hard fan of Ice Skin Jade Beauty. Jiang Zhenzhen's aunt is a doctor. What doctors say is completely trustworthy. Shangguan Farong's expression was priceless. Rose essential oil. And seaweed face masks. Source. Updated on Wuxia World. Said, could the gift box Ni Zuehua gave her actually be genuine? Fong, what's wrong? Jiang Zhenzhen nudged Shangguan Farong. Shangguan Farong quickly snapped back to reality and chuckled, nothing. Ni Zuehua is just a simple country girl. How could a country girl possibly have Ice Skin Jade Bowtie's new item? It must be counterfeit. Thinking in this way, Shangguan Farong felt a lot more at ease. Jiang Zhenzhen continued to say, Farong, tomorrow morning we have to go early and queue up. I heard they're only releasing 30 boxes of the new product every month. Shangguan Farong nodded. The next morning at 8 o'clock, both of them arrived at the nearest Ice Skin Jade beauty store. The mall only opens at 9 o'clock, but there were already people waiting outside the door. Upon asking around, it turned out these people were all here for the new items of Ice Skin Jade Beauty. Looking at the crowd gathering together, Shangguan Furong frowned slightly and said to Jiang Zhenzhen, "Zhenzhen, let's go back." "Why?" Jiang Zhenzhen seemed puzzled. Shangguan Furong covered her nose and whispered, "How can we queue up with these people? It's so beneath us." Jiang Zhenzhen understood Shangguan Furong's thoughts and said with a smile, "The new Ice Skin Jade beauty products cost over 500 yuan per box. Though standing here, their status is not inferior to ours. Who would want to show their faces in a queue at ordinary times? But who would refuse when their products are so good? If they ask their housemaids to buy it for them, they might not trust them as people are willing to offer multiples of the original price to buy it." Thinking about it, Shangguan Furong decided to wait with the crowd for the mall to open. Ultimately, they managed to wait until 9 o'clock, the mall opened, and the crowd surged in, more crazily than the old men and women scrambling for discounted items in the supermarket. Through the eyes of people who were oblivious to the situation, they would think that the Ice Skin Jade beauty products were cheap. Shangguan Furong cares greatly about her image. She did not wish to follow the crowd. Walking gracefully, she moved step by step towards the store. Seeing that Shangguan Furong would not let loose, Jiang Zhenzhen couldn't wait any longer. "Furong, you come along at your own pace. I'll go queue up in the front." As soon as the sentence finished, Jiang Zhenzhen ran into the crowd, completely without any airs of an upper-class family. When Shangguan Furong arrived, the queue had become quite long. The new Ice Skin Jade beauty products were only limited to 30 boxes, not enough for everyone in such a large crowd. Therefore, the salesperson suggested that the remaining customers did not need to queue anymore. Jiang Zhenzhen was lucky, as she got the last spot in the queue. Shangguan Furong quickly approached her and whispered, "Zhenzhen, dear Zhenzhen, remember to spare me one box. I'm going to have a look at their face cleansers and aloe gels." Jiang Zhenzhen replied, "Are you daft? There's only 30 boxes of the new product, and we already have 30 people in line. What if there's an extra box today?" Shangguan Furong did not give up. Jiang Zhenzhen laughed and said, all right. If there is an extra one, I will surely get it for you." Only then did Shangguan Furong feel satisfied, turning around to go and choose other skincare products in the store. Chapter 630, Regret. _2. The booming business led to the increase of the store's staff from the initial 4 to 8. "Furong, have you made your purchase?" Jia Zhenzhen was in a pretty good mood after buying the limited edition icy muslin jade skin. "Zhenzhen, did you buy any extra?" asked Shangguan Furong. Jia Zhenzhen shook her head. "No." Shangguan Furong sighed. "Show me what you bought." Although she didn't score any, a feast for the eyes is always nice. Jia Zhenzhen handed the gift box to Shangguan Furong. The packaging of the new icy muslin jade skin is very elegant, and it's surprising that this box is exactly the same as the counterfeit that Enai Zuihua gave her yesterday. What a coincidence! Shangguan Furong's face changed. Jia Zhenzhen continued, "Furong, this is rose essential oil, as the salesperson told me. You can add a few drops into your bathtub, or use it for aromatherapy and skin massage. And this is a seaweed mask, made with ingredients shipped from the deep sea near Guangguan. This mask is only available in the gift box. They don't sell it individually." Getting the limited edition new product made Jia Zhenzhen very happy. But Shangguan Furong wasn't so happy. "Zhenzhen, do you think there could be counterfeit icy muslin jade skin out there? Wuxia World. Site, counterfeit? I doubt there is any." Jia Zhenzhen opened up the gift box and continued, "Look, all their product boxes have anti-fake labels." "Where?" asked Shangguan Furong. "Right here, look. You can only see it under the light. Do you see the letters New York? That's the anti-fake label." The founder of the icy muslin jade skin line was very smart. They made it so that the label disappears once the box is opened to prevent reuse. You can only see it when it's brand new. The New York letters sparkled under the light. With this explanation, Shangguan Furong felt somewhat relieved. She handed the box back to Jia Jinjin. Jinjin, I just remembered something I need to do. I'll leave first. I won't be going back with you. Jia Jinjin didn't have time to say anything before Shangguan Furong disappeared. Shangguan Furong rushed to the Shangguan family's house. Old Lady Shangguan was sitting on the sofa reading a newspaper. Mom, why are you in such a hurry? Old Lady Shangguan put down the newspaper. Shangguan Furong asked immediately, where is that counterfeit product that Daya brought? What counterfeit product? Old Lady Shangguan frowned in displeasure. Just then, a middle-aged woman walked in from outside. Sister, Yashu is here. Old Lady Shangguan stood up, smiling. Aunt. Though Zhao Yashu was not much older than Shangguan Furong, she still had to properly address her as aunt. This was because she was Old Lady Shangguan's sister-in-law. Zhao Yashu nodded. Sister, you said you had something nice for me over the phone. You wouldn't tell me what it was unless we met in person. Old Lady Shangguan smiled. It's definitely a good thing for you young people. Stop beating around the bush. Zhao Yashu sat down next to Old Lady Shangguan. Old Lady Shangguan took a beautifully wrapped gift box from under the coffee table. Here, this is for you. Zhao Yashu covered her mouth in disbelief. New icy muslin jade skin. Oh my goodness! I had my maid queue for it early this morning, but she arrived too late and couldn't get any. Sister, you really are my dear sister. Zhao Yashu was so excited that she was almost incoherent. Sister, where did you get this? You're incredible. Old Lady Shangguan laughed. This was brought by Di Hui's daughter-in-law, Daya. She originally intended to give it to Furong, but she didn't want it. Hope you won't mind. Since they're all family, Old Lady Shangguan decided to tell the truth. Zhao Yashu excitedly chimed in. What's there to mind? I'm more than delighted. I've been using icy muslin jade skin products for the last 6 months. When I heard from my maid that she failed to buy the new product, I was so upset. If Shangguan Furong didn't want it, it was her loss. Aunt, the icy muslin jade skin might be a fake. If you end up ruining your face, don't say I didn't warn you. Old Lady Shangguan sighed and shook her head. This child is just too suspicious. Zhao Yashu knew Shangguan Furong's personality well. She laughed and said, what's there to be afraid of? Doesn't icy muslin jade skin carry an anti-fake label? We can just open the package and check whether it's real or fake. Chapter 631. Regret it. _3. There's no need to check. Daya is not that kind of person, said the elderly Madame Shangguan. I think it's better to have a look for peace of mind. Shangguan Furong took the gift box and began to open the packaging. Zhao Yashu didn't mind. As the wrapping came off, a triumphant light shone in Shangguan Furong's eyes. I told you this was a fake. We haven't even checked it out yet. How do you know it's a fake? Zhao Yashu curiously queried. Shangguan Furong continued. Auntie, I also went to the Ice Crystal skincare store this morning. I wasn't that lucky. I didn't get the newly launched product. But my best friend who came with me did. Although these 2 gift boxes have the same exterior, their contents are completely different. Look at this rose essential oil. My friend's outer packaging is green, but this one is red. Same with the seaweed facial mask. The real mask comes in a white package, but you have a gold one. Shangguan Furong observed very carefully. This gift box was poles apart from the ones sold in the store. Zhao Yashu said, maybe they changed the packaging. Furong, you can't declare something is fake just because the packaging is different. Check for a security label first. Zhao Yashu is quite fond of Ice Crystal skincare. She didn't manage to get their latest product this morning and had been feeling bummed. Suddenly a surprise gift appeared, but now it was alleged to be a fake. It was quite a roller coaster for her. What a joke this was. Shangguan Furong picked up the rose essential oil, the most expensive item in the gift box, and held its packaging under the light for a closer look. Wuxia World. Sight after a while, she could see the letters New York gradually appear under the light and start to brighten. This was the unique security label of Ice Crystal Skincare. The technology used was so advanced that no one could currently replicate it on the market. The grin on Shangguan Furong's face froze. It was real. The ice crystal skincare product was genuine. Heavens! Why then did its packaging differ from the others? Zhao Yushu cried out in surprise. This is the Supreme Edition. Supreme Edition? What does that mean? Shangguan Furong asked, coming out of her shock. Zhao Yushu explained. Supreme Edition means it's a luxury version. The Ice Crystal Skincare membership card explains in detail. The Supreme Edition is even rarer than the Limited Edition. If there are 30 units of the Limited Edition, there will only be 3 of the Supreme Edition. Shangguan Furong had never read the membership card details carefully before, nor had she ever bought a Supreme Edition product, so she had no clue about this. Auntie, how did you know it's a Supreme Edition? She challenged. Look here. Zhao Yushu pointed to the front of the security label. The label has Supreme printed on it. Who on earth is Daya to get hold of cosmetic products of the Supreme Edition? I've wanted to buy it for a long time but never managed to. Beauty lover Zhao Yushu was absolutely ecstatic. Now she could show off among the ladies of other wealthy families. At their gatherings nowadays, it was not about comparing jeweler anymore, but who had more limited edition ice crystal skincare. The matriarch with more was the popular one in their circle. There had not been any appearances of the Supreme Edition ice crystal skincare yet. The elderly Madame Shangguan was a bit lost. So, is this real or fake? Zhao Yushu laughed. Of course it's real. Moreover, it's the most difficult kind to find. Besides, who would give fake goods as gifts? That's like shooting oneself in the foot. The elderly Madame Shangguan nodded repeatedly. I told you, Daya is not that kind of person. Sister-in-law, who exactly is Daya? Zhao Yushu was bursting with curiosity. How come this person can give away something she herself, who is from a wealthy family, can't even buy? And 2 boxes at that. Just a self-employed noodle seller who came from the countryside to Beijing. Shangguan Furong replied with some frustration. She too was intrigued. How could a self-employed vendor afford such things? Of course, there is another reason why Shangguan Furong said that. She hoped Zhao Yushu would reject the ice crystal skincare. With Zhao Yushu's status, she would look down on a gift from a self-employed vendor, wouldn't she? If Zhao Yushu were to refuse, the skincare would return to her. Chapter 632, Regret It Now. _4. If Jia Zhenjun was happy with getting the standard version of Ice Skin Jade Complexion, she would surely die of envy knowing that I have the Supreme Edition. Though Shangguan Furong could be a bit dominant, she did have some smarts. However, Zhao Yushu completely ignored Shangguan Furong's implied intent and looked at the old Shangguan lady, saying, I feel you must be quite satisfied with Daya, aren't you? If she had followed Shangguan Furong's lead, that would have been foolish. Who wouldn't want such an excellent product like Ice Skin Jade Complexion? Satisfied. The old Shangguan lady nodded her head repeatedly, very satisfied. Then when are you planning to settle this matter? It's not easy to find a good woman these days. Since Dehui and her have such good karma, it's better to settle things down earlier for peace of mind, Zhao Yushu continued. Though she had never met Daya in person, her impression of Daya was quite good. So what if she comes from a rural area? Even a girl from the countryside managed to get hold of the Supreme Edition Ice Skin Jade Complexion. For the people in their elite circle, even the standard version was out of reach. The old Shangguan lady proceeded to say, that will depend on Dehui and Daya's intentions. That she was older and some decisions should be made by the young people. Meddling too much could be bad. Things will straighten out naturally when they are supposed to. Moreover, Shangguan Dehui is probably quite in a rush for this matter even if she isn't. Wuxia World. Sight Zhao Yushu nodded. That's right, this matter depends on the 2 main characters. I must stop imposing now, sister-in-law. I have things to attend to at home. Thank you for the Ice Skin Jade Complexion. I should head back. With that, Zhao Yushu took the gift box from Shangguan Furong's hands. Furong, visit me when you got the time. Looking at Shangguan Furong, it seemed that she didn't want to part with the Supreme Edition of Ice Skin Jade Complexion. If she didn't leave now, she might not get the chance to later. Zhao Yushu wasn't a fool. When the box left Shangguan Furong's hands, her heart also went empty. the Supreme Edition Ice Skin Jade Complexion. It was originally hers. In just the blink of an eye, it became someone else's. Aunt. Shangguan Furong stood up, staring at the ice skin jade complexion in Zhao Yushu's hand. Furong, is there something else? Zhao Yushu turned to look at Shangguan Furong, pretending not to understand the implication in Shangguan Furong's eyes. Aunt, that ice skin jade complexion? Zhao Yushu smiled and said, Furong, don't worry, I will use it well. I won't stay to bother you. I need to leave now. With that, she quickly left the Shangguan's home, afraid that Shangguan Furong might snatch the ice skin jade complexion from her hand. Shangguan Furong fell despondently onto the sofa, her face extremely unpleasant. The old Shangguan woman asked in confusion, what happened? Shangguan Furong turned to the old Shangguan woman, complaining, how could you give the ice skin jade complexion to my aunt? Do you know how much effort it took me to get the Supreme Edition? I woke up at 7 this morning, arrived at the mall at 8, and couldn't get even a standard version. You even gave away my thing without telling me. Shangguan Furong was upset. How could it be like this? That was her thing. Old lady Shangguan looked up at Shangguan Furong. Didn't you say that the ice skin jade complexion was fake? What? You regret it now? Shangguan Furong was taken aback. Even if it is a fake, you can't just give it to someone else. The old Shangguan woman calmly turned a page of her newspaper. It doesn't matter since the one whose face will be ruined isn't you. Why are you so worried? Old lady Shangguan did this on purpose. She wanted to irritate Shangguan Furong. Otherwise, she would forever remain ungrateful. Shangguan Furong started to argue. I said it would ruin her face, but I didn't say I don't want it. I may be old, but my memory isn't failing. If I remember correctly, you directly refused Dia yesterday morning, didn't you? Ah. Shangguan Furong's regret made her want to retch. Old Madam Shangguan continued, Furong, I have told you many times not to judge people by their appearance and background. You never break this habit. Also, you really need to change your domineering attitude, or else who will be able to tolerate you in the future? As long as Zhao Shen can tolerate me, it's enough. Shangguan Furong was vexed. Why do you care so much? I'm leaving now. Zhao Shen was Shangguan Furong's husband, normally under her tight control. In private, Zhao Shen had complained to the old Shangguan woman countless times. Chapter 633. Regret it now. _5. Lady Shangguan felt deep sympathy for her honest and obedient son-in-law. She intended to aid Zhao Shen, but she had no control over her daughter at all. Lady Shangguan watched Shangguan Furong's retreating figure, shaking her head helplessly. Shangguan Furong returned to the Zhao house, fuming with rage. Furong, you're back. Zhao Shen immediately rose from the sofa. Pour me a cup of tea. Oh, all right. Zhao Shen immediately poured Shangguan Furong a cup of tea. After taking one sip, Shangguan Furong immediately spat the tea back out. Zhao Shen, are you deliberately trying to irritate me? Didn't I tell you already? I don't like pure tea. I want Biluakan tea. Biluakan tea. What part of that do you not understand? Shangguan Furong was already seething with anger, and Zhao Shen, the perennial scapegoat, was an easy target. Zhao Shen immediately trembled with fear, and quickly fetched a tissue to wipe Shangguan Furong's mouth. I'm sorry. I was going to drink this pure tea myself. I poured the wrong pot. I'll pour you another one. Zhao Shen, exclaimed Shangguan Furong. She slammed her teacup onto the tea table. How many times have I told you? You are not allowed to drink pure tea either. There shouldn't be any pure tea in this house. Who allowed you to buy it? Who gave you the permission? Are you trying to rebel? I'm sorry, I won't dare to do it again next time. Zhao Shen, the strange man, preferred black and red teas like pure, but Shangguan Furong only liked green tea, and only drank green tea. And so, the conflict escalated. Wuxia World. Sight Wuxia World. Ko Shangguan Furong, too furious to speak, picked up the teapot and smashed it to the ground, pointing at the shards. Kneel down. Zhao Shen, I've finally realized. Unless I make you suffer a bit, you will never remember my rules. Zhao Shen's mother emerged from the inner room, looking at her dominating and overbearing daughter-in-law, too stunned to speak. Zhao Shun was a pushover, and he knelt down when Shangguan Furong ordered him to do so. Those were sharp shards. How could anyone kneel on them without getting hurt? Zhao Shun's mother frowned out of concern. But there was nothing she could do about it. Who could be blamed when her son was so spineless? Just then, the butler came to inform, "Madam, Miss Jia is here." Shangguan Furong turned to Zhao Shun, "Go kneel in the room." "All right, Furong, don't be angry. You know what the books say, anger can make you age faster." Zhao Shun quickly made his way toward the bedroom. Soon after, Jia Zhenzhen entered from outside. "Furong." "Zhenzhen." Shangguan Furong greeted, smiling. "Furong, what happened to you at the mall? Why did you just leave suddenly?" Jia Zhenzhen asked, concerned. Shangguan Furong replied, "It's nothing." Of course, she couldn't say that she had missed out on the supreme edition of the Ice Skin Jade Cream. All thanks to the old lady Shangguan. And Daya. Surely she did it on purpose. If she had just said earlier that this was the supreme edition of Ice Skin Jade Cream, there wouldn't have been this misunderstanding, right? Rural people will always remain rural people and could never step into the spotlight. Even though she had taken her anger out on Zhao Shun just now, Shangguan Furong was still livid. Jia Zhenzhen glanced at the shattered pieces on the floor and whispered, "Did you have another fight with Ziking's dad?" Ziqing was Shangguan Furong's eldest daughter, 9 years old. Shangguan Furong grumbled, "He's as useless as trash. He's not even comparable to Mo Qishan." Jia Zhenzhen tugged at Shangguan Furong's sleeve, signaling for her to lower her voice. Shangguan Furong retorted, "What's there to be afraid of? I didn't say anything wrong." Ultimately, the head of the Shangguan household was her. Who would dare to do anything to her? Be they young or old, everyone had to live by her rules. Jia Zhenzhen pulled Shangguan Furong to the sofa and whispered, "Furong, you should really keep your temper in check. Despite everything, Ziking's dad is a man, and he has his own dignity. If you keep this up, aren't you afraid that he might retaliate one day?" Jia Zhenzhen had known Shangguan Furong for many years now, and she was very familiar with her temper. Too hot-tempered and too domineering. "Furong, some truthful words are unpleasant to hear." At her words, Shangguan Furong's expression changed. She nodded slowly, I get it." Jia Zhenzhen knew it wasn't a good time to stay around, so she said, "Knowing you're okay puts my mind at ease. I'll get going then." Shangguan Furong nodded. And Yang had an exam in Chinese yesterday afternoon. Today, she was scheduled for math and English exams. She arrived at the campus right when the classes had just been dismissed. Yang was dressed in a blue and white school uniform, holding a few books. As she strolled down the path shaded by camphor trees, she attracted the attention of quite a few students who stopped to watch. Chapter 634. Regret it now. _6. Oh my God. She's beyond beautiful. Even some girls couldn't help but exclaim. That's an Yang, isn't it? Yes, that's her, an Yang from class 5. I heard she's super talented. She doesn't need to attend classes and only comes for exams. She's incredible. An Yang is so pretty, I would be satisfied if I were half as pretty as her. An Yang seemed to have not heard the discussions around her, her face impassive. If it were many years ago when she heard such words, she would have felt somewhat thrilled. With more experiences, she became indifferent. An Yang. A figure dashed from behind towards her. An Yang turned to look and saw it was Li Wei. An Yang paused. If she remembered correctly, hadn't Li Wei already graduated? Surprised to see me? Changes during the puberty can be pretty fast. After not seeing him for a long summer break, Li Wei seemed to have grown much taller and his voice had deepened. Wuxia World. Sight Wuxia World. Said. Ko and Yang nodded, quite surprised. Didn't you graduate already? Li Wei chuckled. It seems you do care about me. And Yang, Li Wei continued, I was joking with you. I didn't do well in college entrance exam, so I chose to repeat a year. Am now in class 8. Oh. And Yang nodded, I see. Brother away. Zhou Xueme caught up from behind. Li Wei seemed somewhat reluctant to let Ni Yang see how close he was with Zhou Xuemei. He just nodded coolly. Zhou Zuimai's expression darkened slightly. Li Wei continued, "The exam is about to begin. How's your preparation, Ni Yang?" "It's going well." Ni Yang nodded. After a pause, she added, "I need to leave now. I have something to do." After finishing, she ran off in the direction of the teaching building. "It seems like Ni Yang doesn't like me," Zhou Xuemei complained. Li Wei added, "Maybe you misunderstood Ni Yang? She's actually quite nice." Having heard that, Zhou Xuemei felt even more aggrieved. She and Li Wei were childhood friends, but ever since the arrival of Ni Yang, it seemed like Li Wei wasn't as enthusiastic about her anymore. She had to study hard, surpass Ni Yang academically, make Li Wei take notice of her. Zhou Xuemei made a fist in determination. The two of them proceeded towards the teaching building, each lost in their thoughts. At 1:30 in the afternoon, the monthly exam officially began. As soon as Ni Yang started her math paper, she felt a familiar pain in her abdomen. Could this be happening? Ni Yang frowned slightly. She had been so busy recently that she had lost track of the days. It seemed like her period was due today. During menstruation, a woman's body tends to be at its weakest. Ni Yang was no exception, and on top of that, she suffered from severe period pain. Despite having taken several medicines with no effect, Ni Yang simply gave up being treated. After all, the pain only lasts for a day or two. This probably explains why they say doctors can't cure themselves. She didn't have any sanitary napkins on her, and she was in the examination room with 2 male invigilators. If she tried to bear the pain, it could end up in a bloodbath. After several seconds of hesitation, Ni Yang raised her hand. "What's wrong, student Ni Yang?" Although the invigilator wasn't from her class, Ni Yang was quite well known at school. It would be hard not to know her. "Teacher, I have a stomachache. Can I take a leave?" Once these words were spoken, everyone in the examination room turned curious or concerned eyes towards Ni Yang. The invigilator hesitated a moment, then said, "Can you hold on for a bit longer, Ni Yang?" "Probably that's not." Regarding student health as the top priority, the invigilator continued, "In that case, you can go. They'll speak to your class teacher for you." "Thank you, teacher's son." Ni Yang bent to thank the teacher, picked up her draft paper and pencil box, and walked towards the classroom exit. As soon as Ni Yang left, teacher's son came to pick up the test paper from her table. Seeing this, the other teacher immediately came over. "How's the dark horse performing?" Behind the scenes, everyone referred Ni Yang as the dark horse instead of calling her by her name. "It's only been 20 minutes and she's completed half of it, all correct." Teacher's son handed the test paper to him. "Why can't such a brilliant student be in our class?" The other teacher also sighed. After Ni Yang left the classroom, she first went to the restroom, using tissue paper as a temporary fix. Then she took off her school uniform, tied it around her waist, and quickly rode her bike to the supermarket. Chapter 635. Regret it now. _7 In the lunar month of October, Ni Yang was only wearing a white knit sweater. A light breeze carried a touch of chill, and combined with her monthly cycle, Ni Yang looked a bit pale. Before the 1980s, there were no menstrual pads in China. In 1984, menstrual pads had only recently been introduced to China. Before the 1980s, everyone used cloth menstrual belts. A menstrual belt was a strip of cloth sewn together. Most households kept 2, one to be worn and one for washing, during the menstrual cycle. Although menstrual pads had been introduced to China, the vast majority still used menstrual belts. That was because a pack of menstrual pads cost 8 or 9 yuan, but at that time, people's monthly salary was only about 30-something yuan, which made them unaffordable. And because sales were low, very few stores sold them. You had to go to specific stores. Ni Yang did buy quite a few for home use. But now she was in the city. Ni Yang quickened her pace. She must hurry. Just then, a luxurious car suddenly stopped in front of Ni Yang. Wuxia World. Sight ordinarily, Ni Yang would definitely think that this car looked familiar, but today, she suddenly felt irritable. Whose damn car was this? How impolite. Didn't they realize she was in a hurry? Just as Ni Yang was about to lose her temper, the driver's window rolled down, and Wu Daming's excited face appeared. Sister-in-law. Sister-in-law. Before Ni Yang could react, the back car door was pushed open from inside, and a long leg came into view first. Following the line of the leg upward, a clear-cut face came into view. Brother Mo. The anger within Ni Yang vanished instantly. Yang. Mo Chishan walked over and gathered Ni Yang into his arms. It's so cold out, why are you dressed so lightly? As he spoke, Mo Chishan took off his dark blue trench coat and wrapped it around Ni Yang. The trench coat wasn't thick but carried a warm body temperature, along with a faint scent of smoke, giving an inexplicably reassuring feeling. When did you get back, Brother Mo? Ni Yang looked up at Mo Chishan. Mo Chishan was bending over, busily buttoning the coat. Just got off the plane. He had originally planned to surprise Ni Yang, but after bumping into her on the street, Mo Chishan couldn't control himself anymore. Just then, Ni Yang felt another wave of pain from within her body. She grasped Mo Chishan's arm. Brother Mo, I gotta go, I need to make a trip to the store. What if she really bled profusely? They'll have Wu Daming drive you there. It's too cold to ride a bike. Look how pale your face is. Mo Chishan reached out to pinch her face. Not only pale but also icy cold. Ni Yang hesitated for a second and then nodded, all right. Wu Daming efficiently shoved the bike into the trunk. Ni Yang and Mo Chishan got into the back seat. Yang, are you not feeling well? Mo Chishan tightly clasped Ni Yang's hand, finding that it was not warming up despite his efforts. No, I'm okay, Ni Yang shook her head. Just drive me to the store up ahead. How was she supposed to tell him about this? Seeing Ni Yang's hand resting on her belly, her face pale, her hands and feet freezing cold, Mo Chishan quickly concluded what was happening and told Wu Daming, who was at the driver's seat, Daming, speed up. The car quickly reached the store. Ni Yang immediately leaned over to get out of the car, but was held back by Mo Chishan. Stay in the car, I'll go. Ni Yang slightly frowned. Do you know what I need to buy? Mo Chishan's ears reddened for a moment. Yes. Are you sure you do? Mo Chishan's ears turned even redder. Ni Yang's ears turned red as well. Oh my goodness. Could he possibly know what she was talking about? Wu Daming curiously turned his head. Brother 6, sister-in-law, what kind of riddle are you playing? What's all this talk about knowing or not knowing? You'll understand when you have a girlfriend. Mo Chishan looked up at Wu Daming. Wu Daming, yet another day being fed with dog food. It'll be right over. Mo Chishan closed the car door. Inside the store, Mo Chishan pointed to the red jar on the counter. I'll take that one. Most of the menstrual pads at this time were jar-packed. The salesgirl was a young lady. She had hardly seen any man buying these, and her cheeks turned red too. She asked, Comrade, is this it? Mo Chishan first nodded, then shook his head. Give me the best one. Oh my goodness. Whose husband is this? So considerate. How about this imported one then? It's 18 yuan. Is this the best one? Mo Chishan asked. Yes. The sales clerk nodded. I'll take this one. The salesgirl was really excited. Whose husband is this considerate, willing to buy such expensive sanitary pads? After choosing the sanitary pads, Mo Chishan then went to the clothing store next door and bought a set of new clothes. Only then did he return to the car, stuff the things into Ni Yang's arms, and then directed Wu Daming to proceed to Wanqing Villa. Ni Yang blushed as she glanced at the stuff in the bag. He didn't buy the wrong one. How did he figure it out? Ni Yang tugged at Mo Chishan's sleeve, whispering, I need to go to the bathroom. Mo Chishan nodded. I know. Don't worry, we'll be there soon. Soon, the car stopped in front of a beautiful villa. Mo Chishan got out of the car first and opened the door for Ni Yang. The moment Ni Yang stepped out of the car, she was scooped up in the arms of Mo Chishan. Ni Yang, who was caught off guard, let out a gasp and quickly wrapped her arms around Mo Chishan's neck. Put me down quickly. No. Mo Chishan turned to Wu Daming. Daming, you can leave first. Okay, Brother 6, remember to call me if you need anything. Wu Daming pointed to the pager in his pocket. Mo Chishan nodded, then carried Ni Yang into the villa. Brother Mo, I can walk on my own. Are you sure? Mo Chishan glanced at her abdomen. Yang, crack. Although Mo Chishan doesn't stay in this villa often, it's regularly cleaned by someone. The interior was very clean. Mo Chishan led Ni Yang to the master bedroom, single-handedly pulled open the bathroom door, put Ni Yang down and said, "There are new toiletries inside, I am outside, remember to call me if you need anything." Ni Yang nodded, reaching out to close the bathroom door. Soon, there were sounds of splashing water coming from inside. Mo Chishan sat on the sofa in the living room, and in no time, there were a few cigarette butts in the ashtray. Ni Yang stayed in there quite a while. She washed her clothes and put them in the bag that used to hold her new clothes. Just as she came out of the bathroom, she saw Mo Chishan coming over with a bowl. Yang, get to the bed and rest. Drink this Angelica brown sugar water first. Ni Yang squinted her eyes, took a step forward, stood on a higher step than Mo Chishan, and reached up to rest her hand on his shoulder. Tell me, do you often flirt with ladies like this? Confess, it's less severe to confess than to resist. Young lady. Mo Chishan was taken aback. My oldest sister is 22 years older than me, my second sister is 18 years older than me, I don't have a younger sister. Chapter 636. To get rich, first build roads. Ni Yang couldn't help but burst into laughter. Brother Mo, are you genuinely clueless or are you pretending? Mo Chishan said, I genuinely don't have a little sister. Ni Yang explained, the little sister I'm referring to is different from the one you're imagining. In this context, it's someone you're fond of, someone you yearn for when you don't see them for just a day. Men from the 80s had a bit of chauvinistic mindset, and sex education hadn't been popularized yet. It was rare for a man to understand a woman's needs so well. Yet Mo Chishan knew to buy sanitary pads, laundry items, and even knew about Angelica brown sugar water. It was clear he had experience doing such things. There is a beauty, unforgettable at first sight. If I don't see her for a day, I'll be consumed by thoughts of her. Mo Chishan casually placed the bowl on the side table, taking the initiative by pulling Ni Yang into his arms. Yang, you are my little sister. Ni Yang froze for a moment but then leaned into his embrace. The simple hug lasted for about 2 minutes. Then Mo Chishan let go of Ni Yang and nudged her onto the sofa. Hurry up and drink the sweet soup before it cools down. Ni Yang took the porcelain bowl, and to think you claimed you hadn't courted other little sisters before? Wuxia world. Sight Wuxia world. Said, my sense of smell is naturally sharper than others, Mo Chishan explained. And this? I asked Aunt Lisa, our cleaning lady. His face turned red as he spoke. It was his first time ever asking such questions. Even Aunt Lisa was taken aback. While Ni Yang was bathing, Aunt Lisa kept stealing glances, curious to see what the girl who had charmed their master looked like. Really? Ni Yang was skeptical. Really? Mo Chishan held up 3 fingers. Boss, I swear, you're the only little sister I've ever had. Ni Yang took a sip of the Angelica brown sugar water. Then I guess I'll reluctantly believe you this time. Yang, do you want to rest a bit on the bed? Mo Chishan asked next. No need. Perhaps because of the Angelica brown sugar water, Ni Yang didn't feel any abdominal pain today. It's getting late, I should head back. She had been in the bathroom for an hour. Combined with the time she spent on the road, it was already after 5 in the afternoon. The sunset streamed in through the window, bathing the room in a golden glow. It was beautiful and peaceful. Leaving so early? Mo Chishan reached for the empty bowl. It's already past 5. Ni Yang pointed to the clock on the wall. Mo Chishan picked up his coat, casually draping it over his body. Then I'll escort you home. No need, I can take a taxi back. You should go home and check in, I'm sure your parents are waiting for you. Ni Yang said. Mo Chishan laughed. They don't know I'm back today. Come on, I'll take you. All right. Ni Yang nodded. Just as they were about to leave, Aunt Lisa came in to pick up the empty bowl. Aunt Lisa, this is Miss Ni. Mo Chishan introduced. Aunt Lisa, a blonde, blue-eyed woman from M country. To be accurate, aside from Wu Daming, everyone around Mo Chishan was a foreigner. Looking at Anai Yang, Aunt Lisa's eyes gleamed with appreciation. "Hello, Miss Anai. My God, this Eastern girl is too pretty. No wonder our master is so smitten with her." "Hello, Aunt Lisa." Anai Yang greeted her warmly. Though she was beautiful, she didn't come off as aloof. She gave off a friendly vibe, unlike some who strutted around with an arrogant attitude because of their looks and talent. Mo Chishan escorted Anai Yang out of the villa. Somehow, Wu Daming was already waiting outside the villa gate. On seeing Mo Chishan and Anai Yang approach, he immediately opened the car door. "Brother 6, sister-in-law 6. Go to your sister-in-law's house," Mo Chishan responded gruffly. "Okay." Wu Daming was a skilled driver, and they soon arrived at the entrance of Jinghua village. The roads in Jinghua village weren't great, and the sedan had a low ground clearance, so it couldn't be driven in. They had to park outside the village. Wu Daming said, "Sister-in-law, didn't I hear you bought a place in the city?" "Yeah." Anai Yang nodded. Wu Daming continued, "Then why haven't you moved in? City commute is so convenient. I'll take at least 10 minutes to walk from here to your house." Chapter 637. To get rich, build the road first. _2. Anai Yang said with a smile, "The city is too noisy. The countryside is more serene. It's a good opportunity to get some exercise on the walk home." Even though the city was bustling, Anai Yang felt no sense of belonging there. She had a fondness for the countryside. However, Wu Daming's words reminded her of something. Wu Daming further said, "Sixth sister-in-law, I heard you've been investing in real estate. How many properties have you bought in the city?" Anai Yang thought for a moment. "Probably more than 20. I've lost count." Having too many houses brought its own troubles. Wu Daming swallowed hard, then gave Anai Yang a thumbs up. Indeed, family members are all alike. He had assumed that only Mo Chishan was foolishly buying so many houses. He didn't expect Anai Yang to have done the same. Houses couldn't be eaten, what was the point of buying so many? When the time came, they would surely regret it if they got stuck with them. Anai Yang smiled faintly and turned to look at Mo Chishan. "Brother Mo, I think I'll head home first, Wuxia World." "Sight Wuxia World." Said, "Ko, wait a moment." Mo Chishan held her hand. "What is it?" Anai Yang looked back at him. Mo Chishan said, "We're at your home's doorstep. I should, of course, pay Auntie a visit." He prided himself on being a good son-in-law. Wu Daming hurriedly opened the trunk and took out the gifts he had prepared in advance. "Sixth brother, here you go." Mo Chishan, holding Anai Yang's hand with one hand and taking the gifts with the other, said, "Daming, you can head back first. Come and pick me up around 8 or 9. "All right." Wu Daming nodded. Hand in hand, Mo Chishan and Anai Yang headed towards the Anai family home. Even though night had fallen, they still encountered quite a few villagers. Mo Chishan was a very polite young man and greeted everyone they met. Anai Tsuehua was cooking in the kitchen. They were having a hot pot dinner that evening, and the aroma of stir-fried hot pot base wafted through the yard. Upon seeing Mo Chishan, Anai Tsuehua expressed her surprise. "Xiaoma, when did you come back?" Mo Chishan replied, "Auntie, I took the 1 o'clock flight this afternoon." Anai Tsuehua nodded. The hot pot was a double flavor pot. Anai Yang, who always had a liking for spicy food, looked at the red pot while nibbling at the clear broth pot to satisfy her cravings. Fortunately, the soup base of the clear hot pot was also very flavorful. Hot pot was an ideal dish for cold weather, and it wasn't long before beads of sweat formed on Anai Yang's nose tip. "Xiaoma, are you free on the 18th? Anai Tsuehua looked at Mo Chishan. "Auntie, do you need something?" Mo Chishan curiously looked at Anai Tsuehua. Even Anai Yang was slightly curious. Anai Chenge bit into a large fish ball and chimed in, "Something good is coming." "Auntie Anai, what good thing?" Anai Yang asked. Anai Chenge just chuckled without saying anything, continuing to eat his vegetables. Anai Tsuehua went on to say, "Your uncle Shangguan told me today that they will be coming over for a visit on the 18th. Mo Chishan also seemed to understand something and immediately nodded. "I'll be free, auntie. I've been quite idle recently." And Aitsuehua said with a smile, "Since you're free, come over that day, Xiaoma, and meet more people." "Okay." Mo Chishan nodded. After dinner, Ni Yang escorted Mo Chishan home. But she was only responsible for sending him to the edge of the village. "Yang, who is this Uncle Shangguan?" Mo Chishan didn't have the heart to ask at the dinner table. Ni Yang replied, "Uncle Shangguan is my mom's boyfriend. His full name is Shangguan Dehui." Mo Chishan was momentarily shocked. He didn't expect that Ni Tsuehua would have found a companion so quickly. It seemed that the meeting on the 18th definitely had the implication of acknowledging relatives. The fact that Ni Tsuehua invited him to join meant that she didn't see him as an outsider. The corners of Mo Chishan's mouth involuntarily curled up in a smile. "That's a good thing. Auntie is still young, she should have a companion." Mo Chishan held Ni Yang's hand tighter. Ni Yang nodded with a smile. "Yes, I know." A normal child, upon learning her mother was seeking another companion, would generally have some reservations and need to confide this to someone. But not Ni Yang. She truly wished for Ni Kuihua's happiness. That's why Mo Chishan was so fond of her. Because he believed that there was no one else in this world more understanding than her. Being with her could make a person feel utterly relaxed. Upon returning home, Ni Yang didn't immediately lie down on the bed. Instead, she sat at her desk, completely engrossed in sketching out a design. The next day, Ni Yang went to the bank to check her balance. After returning home, she went to the village chief's house. Ni Yang was quite popular in Jinghua village, and this was no exception at the village chief's home. Village chief Li received her warmly. He brought out the tea leaves that were usually only brewed for festivals and special occasions. Chapter 638. To get rich, first build roads. _3. Ni Yang stood up, took the teacup handed over by the village chief, and said, "You really don't have to be so polite, village chief. I'm only here to discuss something with you. After that, I'll be leaving." Village chief Li responded with a smile. "That's perfect. We can chat while enjoying our tea." Ni Yang sipped her tea and continued, "Village chief Li, the roads in our village become muddy every time it rains. It is very inconvenient for the elderly and children to walk on them. Yang, are you thinking about fixing the road?" Village chief Li inferred from Ni Yang's words. "Yes." Ni Yang nodded in confirmation. Village chief Li took a puff of his cigarette. "Yang, you know the situation in our village. Before you came back, everyone couldn't even afford meat. At the moment, there is no supportive policy from the government. Talking about road construction is easy, but it requires a substantial amount of money. Even if each household in our village could contribute 100 yuan, it would not be sufficient to cover the costs. Road construction requires stones, cement, sand, and the wages and living allowances of the workers. Altogether, it would cost at least over 100,000 yuan. That isn't a small amount of money." Ni Yang took out a small notebook and continued, "Village chief Li, I've calculated that our village needs about 20 kilometers of cement road. Building a road about 4.5 meters wide and 20 centimeters thick would require approximately 240 tons of cement, 1,920 tons of sand, and including labor costs and so on, it would cost around 100,000 yuan. I will cover this 100,000 yuan. In the era that followed, based on the price of 138 yuan per meter, a 20-kilometer cement road would cost at least over 2 million yuan. However, this was the cheap and economical 1980s after all. To get rich, build roads first. Ni Yang had thought it through. She wanted to help build the road in Jinghua village. Only in this way, she thought, could the village further develop in the future. Wuxia world. Sight upon hearing her words, village chief Li was stunned. Yang, what did you just say?" 100,000 yuan. That was not a small sum. Ni Yang said, "Village chief Li, you heard me right. I am completely sober. I want to build a road." Village chief Li took a deep puff of his cigarette. Yang, does your mother know about this?" Ni Yang nodded. "Don't worry, I've already discussed it with my mom." Ni Tsuehua was also a very grateful person. The villagers of Jinghua village had always treated her and her daughter well. Now that their economic conditions had improved, it was only right for them to give back to Jinghua village. Helping others can be a form of self-help too. Yang, are you really not joking with me? Village chief Li still found it hard to believe. And Yang said very seriously, Village chief Li, you don't have to worry. I am not joking with you. If you agree to construct the road, we can start implementing it tomorrow. Then the construction team can come to me for reimbursement. Yang, on behalf of all the villagers, thank you. Village chief Li stood up and bowed to Yang. At a certain medical laboratory, a thin woman clad in a white lab coat and wearing a face mask was bustling around the lab bench. An elderly woman with silvery hair was sitting across from her. Dr. Xiaoran, how are the identification results? Lady Shangguan was very nervous and uneasy at the moment. She was waiting for the identification results. She had a hunch that Enai Zuihua was somehow tied to her. If not, then she might never find her daughter in this lifetime. Dr. Xiaoran poured the red liquid in one test tube into another one filled with a blue liquid. Aunt Qing, don't worry. The identification results are not out yet. They're not out yet? Lady Shangguan became anxious. Didn't they say the results would be out in 3 months? How come there are still no results yet? Dr. Xiaoran apologized. There is a problem with the identification machine, so it may take a while longer. Aunt Qing, I'm really sorry to have kept you waiting all this time. Hearing this made Lady Shangguan sigh. Dr. Xiaoran looked up at Lady Shangguan and noticed her complexion seemed off. Aunt Qing, has your coughing gotten worse recently? Lady Shangguan responded, it hasn't gotten much worse, it's still the same. Dr. Zioran's brow furrowed. What did Dr. Jiang say? Lady Shangguan avoided directly answering Dr. Zioran's question. Instead she asked, how much longer do we have to wait? Dr. Xiaoran replied, the new machine is still being shipped. Adding the time needed for the identification process, I'm afraid we need to wait until after the new year. After saying this, she added, if you are in a hurry, I can recommend a trustworthy doctor for you. Lady Shangguan shook her head, I only trust you now. Chapter 639. To get rich, first build roads. _4. Dr. Sharon stopped what she was doing, sat opposite the old Mrs. Zheng, reached out and held her hand. Qing, your illness can't be postponed anymore. If Dr. Jiang is not confident about treating you, you should seek other doctors as soon as possible. Dr. Xiaoran is trained in forensic science. Her understanding about human health is not very extensive. She only noted a particularly unhealthy pallor on the old Mrs. Shangguan's face. Mrs. Zheng laughed. As people grow older, the organs in the body start to fail. This has nothing to do with Dr. Jiang's medical skills. Sharon, I trust Dr. Jiang just like I trust you. She had been dealing with Dr. Jiang for half of her life. All her major and minor sicknesses were treated by him. If she suddenly replaced him with another doctor now, wouldn't it put Dr. Jiang in an awkward position? Mrs. Zheng was a person who deeply valued relationships. Dr. Sharon slightly furrowed her eyebrows. Qing, this isn't about trust. Dr. Jiang is old, his education is old-fashioned. Some young doctors are actually more professional than him. Dr. Xiaoran had met Dr. Jiang before. He was a very kind old man. Dr. Xiaoran did not doubt his character, but she felt that his medical expertise wasn't that strong. Mrs. Zheng continued, I understand. All right, let's not discuss this any further. If the identification results are ready, make sure to inform me first. Yes. Dr. Xiaoran nodded and escorted Mrs. Zheng out. Butler Lu was standing by the laboratory door. Wuxia World. Site Wuxia World. Said. Upon seeing Dr. Xiaoran helping Mrs. Zheng out, he immediately stepped forward and took Mrs. Zheng's arm. Madam. Mrs. Zheng seemed taken aback. Butler Lu, why are you here? She did not inform anyone that she was coming. Madam, let's get in the car first. Butler Lu did not answer Mrs. Zheng's question directly and opened the rear door of the car. As soon as the car door closed, an old voice echoed in the air. Qing, how are the identification results? Mrs. Zheng turned her head to see Mr. Jing Jun sitting beside her. Over the years, Mr. Jing Jun indulged himself in opera and gardening, He hardly cared about what happened in the outside world, or within the Zheng family. All these matters were handled by Mrs. Zheng alone. Previously, when Mrs. Zheng was busy searching for their daughter, Mr. Zheng didn't poke his nose into it. But this time, Mr. Zheng even followed her here, which surprised Mrs. Zheng. Mrs. Zheng shook her head. Xiaoran said the machine had some problems. We have to wait for a new one to arrive. The identification results may not come out until after the new year. Hearing this, Mr. Zheng sighed. There was silence in the car. After a long while, Mr. Zheng spoke again. Is that child really similar to our Tingting? Yes, Mrs. Zheng nodded. Very similar, especially her daughter. She looks exactly like Tingting when she was young. Aching. Mr. Zheng suddenly held Mrs. Zheng tightly, his voice choked with emotion. Do you think I will have the chance to see Tingting in this lifetime? Mr. Zheng was 12 years older than Mrs. Zheng. He is over 70 years old this year. He feared he might never see his only daughter again. Over the years, it wasn't that he didn't miss his daughter, he just didn't show it. He was afraid that his yearning would emotionally burden Mrs. Zheng, so he sought solace in gardening and dramatic arts. But recently he felt that his health was deteriorating and often dreamt of his long-deceased parents. They didn't speak in his dreams, they just smiled and gestured him to come over. Mr. Zheng had a constant feeling that his end was near. Mrs. Zheng's eyes started to tear up. What nonsense are you talking about? You will definitely meet Tingting. We both will see Tingting together. The elderly couple sobbed together. The atmosphere in the car became suffocating and tense. After a long while, the two old people managed to calm their emotions. Mrs. Zheng spoke to Butler Lu, who was driving at the front. Butler Lu, let's go to Dr. Wang. At that time, there were 2 strands of hair. One was given to Dr. Xiaoran, and another one was given to Dr. Wang. All right. Didn't you say that you don't trust Dr. Wang? Mr. Zheng turned his head to look at Mrs. Zheng. Although Mr. Zheng didn't have much of a presence in the Zheng family and was not involved in the family affairs, his knowledge about the family wasn't less than Mrs. Zheng's. Mrs. Zheng continued, what if Dr. Wang comes up with useful evidence? At this point, they wouldn't give up on even the slightest bit of hope. Chapter 640. To get rich, first build roads. _5. Old Mr. Zheng nodded. Dr. Xiaoran watched the direction in which the sedan had vanished and let out a deep sigh. From the day she remembered things, Mrs. Zheng had been searching for her daughter. This search had been going on for over 20 years. Soon she was going to get married and have a baby, and Mrs. Zheng still hadn't found her hope. Dr. Xiaoran turned back to the laboratory and made a phone call. Hello, Lala. I need a favor. A pretty voice came from the other end. What is it, Xiaoran? There's something wrong with my detector here. Can you help me with a DNA identification? Sure. Thank you, Lala. Dr. Xiaoran continued. Then I will bring it to you right away. The person on the phone with Dr. Xiaoran is Zhou La, her college classmate and a very good friend. Although Mrs. Zheng doesn't believe in others, Dr. Xiaoran believes in Zhou La. Instead of waiting like this, it's better to let Zhou La do the identification first. With it under her name, no one would be the wiser. Wuxia World. Site Wuxia World. Said Ko. After hanging up the phone, Dr. Xiaoran rode her bicycle to deliver the materials to Zhou La. Zhou La is a very enthusiastic person. She took the materials. Rest assured, Xiaoran. I've got this. Dr. Xiaoran hugged Zhou La. Thank you so much. That aunt of mine is really anxious to find her biological daughter. You're welcome. Zhou La patted Dr. Xiaoran on the back. She too had experienced the pain of losing a loved one. So she knew the pain of parting. Old Mrs. Zheng and old Mr. Zheng arrived at Dr. Wang's place. Dr. Wang warmly welcomed the elderly couple. Old Mrs. Zheng made her request directly, without beating around the bush. Dr. Wang pushed up his glasses that were resting on his nose bridge. Mr. and Mrs. Zheng, please be mentally prepared. Old Mrs. Zheng nodded. Old Mr. Zheng took a sip of water from the cup he held. Only then did Dr. Wang bring out the identification report. Unfortunately, the identification results show that there is no biological relationship between the two of you and the other party. Even though they had already anticipated this result, old Mr. Zheng and old Mrs. Zheng couldn't help but feel disappointed. After a while, old Mrs. Zheng took the identification report from Dr. Wang's hand. All right, I understand. Dr. Wang continued, it has been 34 years since the incident. Everything has changed. I would advise you not to dwell on it. The greater the hope, the greater the disappointment. At your age, you cannot withstand the turmoil or shocks. Living in the present is most important. Old Mrs. Zheng nodded. Old Mr. Zheng angrily stood up, his eyes bloodshot. Go to hell with your living in the present. Because the lost one isn't your daughter. For many years, this was the first time that old Mrs. Zheng saw old Mr. Zheng lose his temper like this. She looked at old Mr. Zheng, and tears streamed down her face. It turns out the person who seems to care the least is the one who cares the most. Dr. Wang was startled, his voice trembling. Mr. Zheng, getting angry won't help this situation. It had been 33 years. Who knew if their daughter was dead? Let's go. Old Mrs. Zheng took hold of old Mr. Zheng's arm. Old Mr. Zheng pinched his temples, following old Mrs. Zheng out. Your grandpa sure has quite a temper. As the old couple left, a young man and woman appeared from the yard. Zheng Xianjing took a deep breath. My grandfather just misses my aunt too much. I just remembered that I have something to do. I have to go now. Please tell my uncle not to be angry with my grandpa. The young man had a look of regret on his face, reaching out to hold Zheng Xianjing's hand. Xianjing, didn't we agree to go watch a movie later? This young man was none other than Dr. Wang's son, Wang Xiaoxing. Zheng Xianjing said, I really do have something. When I'm free, I'll definitely go to the movies with you. At this point, Wang Xiaoxing had no value left. Naturally, she was ready to kick him aside. She would marry Mr. Mog if she were to marry. For men like Wang Xiaoxing, he barely qualified to be her shoe carrier. What about us? Zheng Xianjing feigned ignorance. What about us? Wang Xiaoxing said, I mean our relationship, Xianjing. Didn't you say that you would consider me, give me a chance? Zheng Xianjing regretfully said, Xiaoxing, I think I need to consider that. Chapter 641. To get rich, first build roads. _6. Why? Wang Xiaoxing became impatient. Zheng Xianjing replied calmly, Xiaoxing, you need to calm down. Matters of the heart are not to be taken lightly. I cannot make decisions in haste. Moreover, from our time spent together, I feel we are not right for each other. You deserve better. Wang Xiaoxing was rooted to the spot. He didn't understand where he had gone wrong. Zheng Xianjing didn't give Wang Xiaoxing much time to think. She turned and left. She needed to rush home and share the good news with Lingling. Zheng Xianjing arrived home almost at the same time as the elderly Mr. and Mrs. Zheng. As soon as they arrived home, they noticed Lingling applying medicine to Suyu's wound on the couch. Startled by the noise at the door, Suyu screamed out, Ghost! The ghost! The ghost is coming to kill me! Lingling comforted Suyu softly, Auntie, don't frighten yourself. There are no ghosts in this world. It's just Mom and Dad who are back. Instead of calming down, Suyu seemed even more terrified, her eyes full of fear. She clung onto Lingling's sleeve tightly. It's a ghost. They won't let me go. They're after me. Suyu. Mrs. Zheng hurried over. What happened her? She asked Lingling. She fell down the stairs by accident. Look, her arm is bruised. Lingling rolled up Suyu's sleeve. She refused to let the doctor apply medicine. Wuxia World. Sight Wuxia World. C0 Mrs. Zheng sighed. Zheng Xianjing gave Lingling a knowing look and took the medicine from Lingling's hand. Mom, let me apply the medicine. Auntie listens to me best. Indeed, it was strange. Whenever Suyu was confused and lost, only Xianjing managed to calm her down. Lingling successfully understood her daughter's glance and addressed her parents. Mom, Dad, where have you been? Mrs. Zheng said, Your father and I went for a stroll. Oh. Lingling nodded. You both do need to go out more often. Being cooped up at home isn't good. What a stubborn old woman. Still trying to keep things from her? Did she really think that Lingling was oblivious? Thank goodness Lingling had a contingency plan and had Xianjing switch out the strand of hair entrusted to Dr. Wang. Mr. Zheng went to Suyu's side, touched Suyu's hair gently and said, Suyu, when will you get better? Suyu used to be a lively and spirited woman. How had she become like this? Suyu pushed Mr. Zheng's hand away, hid behind Xianjing and shrieked, "You're a ghost. Don't kill me. I beg you, don't kill me." Mr. Zheng sighed. If one day he and Mrs. Zheng were no longer around, what would become of Suyu? Would the younger generation be able to treat her with the same kindness? Zheng Xianjing gently patted Suyu's back. "Auntie, don't worry, Grandpa is your brother, not a ghost." Suyu wore a bizarre expression on her face. "He's a ghost." Lingling continued, "All right, Xianjing, take her back to her room to rest." "Okay." Xianjing nodded. "Mum, Dad, I'll fetch you the ginseng soup that I have prepared." Just as Lingling brought the ginseng soup, Dr. Jiang arrived carrying her medical bag. Today was Mrs. Zheng's day for follow-up. "Auntie Jiang." Lingling greeted as she rose to her feet. Dr. Jiang nodded, placed her medical bag on the coffee table and asked, "Qing, how have you been feeling lately?" "Not bad," answered Mrs. Zheng. "That's good," Dr. Jiang said, taking out her stethoscope. "I'll head upstairs first then," Mr. Zheng said to Mrs. Zheng. Mr. Zheng wasn't much of a talker when he was younger, and hardly interacted with outsiders apart from his close ones. Over the years, apart from the day when Dr. Jiang brought Lingling back, Mr. Zheng had hardly communicated with Dr. Jiang. Mrs. Zheng nodded, "You go ahead." "Dad, you forgot to drink the ginseng soup." Lingling took the ginseng soup and followed behind Mr. Zheng. Mr. Zheng took the ginseng soup and drank all of it in one gulp. Dr. Jiang chuckled, "Lingling is a very dutiful child." Lingling replied, "You're too kind, Auntie Jiang. These are just responsibilities as a child." Dr. Jiang glanced at Mrs. Zheng's bowl of ginseng soup and continued, "This bowl of ginseng soup has many expensive ingredients and was personally prepared by Lingling. It must have required a lot of your time?" "Not really, I didn't have much else to do." Lingling returned to the room with the empty bowl. It didn't take long for Dr. Jiang to finish Mrs. Zheng's checkup. Lingling immediately asked anxiously, "Auntie Jiang, how is my mom doing?" "Absolutely fine. It's natural to have some ailments due to old age, but they are not serious." Dr. Jiang reassured Lingling and then patted Mrs. Zheng's shoulder. "Qing, you raised Lingling well. If it weren't for Lingling's meticulous care, Mrs. Zheng might have already passed on." Mrs. Zheng held onto Lingling's hand. "Lingling really is a dutiful child." Lingling blushed at the compliment. After making sure Mrs. Zheng was fine, Dr. Jiang asked to leave. "Lingling, can you see Dr. Jiang out?" Mrs. Zheng asked. "She didn't feel up for it today." "Okay." Lingling nodded. "There's no need to see me out, I'm practically family." Dr. Jiang replied as she picked up her medical bag. Lingling laughed as she walked Dr. Jiang out. "Auntie Jiang, you've done so much for my mom." Once outside, Lingling seemed to remember something. "Auntie Jiang, my father's been feeling unwell lately. Do you have any calming or soothing medicine?" "I do." Dr. Jiang nodded, taking out a white bottle of pills, half a pill at a time, once a day. "Make sure not to overdose, every medication has side effects." Lingling received the bottle from Dr. Jiang. "Understood, I'll keep that in mind." Dr. Jiang turned back to look at Lingling. "You can stop here." But Lingling continued walking with Dr. Jiang. "Dr. Jiang, today my mom went to see Dr. Wang. But it seems the results weren't very good. I don't know if my mom will be able to find my sister in this lifetime." Dr. Jiang sighed. "No wonder your mom seemed a bit off today. It's understandable considering she's worried. It's been so many years, but you never know. Life often surprises us. She might find her any day now. But on the other hand, if she can't find her, you're her only child now. Make sure to comfort her." Lingling nodded, accompanied Dr. Jiang to the edge of the road. "Please be careful on the road, it's getting dark." "I know. You should go back now." Dr. Jiang waved goodbye as she left. Chapter 642. Shangguan Furong was slapped _1 Zheng Lingling did not go back immediately, instead watching as Dr. Jiang's figure disappeared into the twilight. Dr. Jiang is about the same age as old lady Zheng, in her 60s this year. She has never married and currently lives alone. As soon as Zheng Lingling returned to the villa, Old Lady Jing asked. Has your Aunt Jiang gone home? Zheng Lingling nodded. Old Lady Zheng continued. Your Aunt Jiang lives alone, so if you have time, remember to take Xianjing to visit her. If it weren't for your Aunt Jiang bringing you home all those years ago, where would we niece and aunt have the chance to meet? Blink and over 30 years have passed, and your Aunt Jiang is old now. Again bringing up the past. This damn old woman just can't forget about those years. She has changed her tone and called her mother, but this damn old woman always remembers their relationship as aunt and niece. She never really considered her a daughter. All the filial piety over the years went down the drain. Zheng Lingling clenched her teeth in anger, but still had to put on a smile. All right, Mom. Old Lady Zheng nodded. I'm going to my room first, Wuxia World. Sight Wuxia World. Said. Mom, dinner is about to be served. Zheng Lingling said. Old Lady Zheng said, you go ahead and eat. I've just had some ginseng soup and am not hungry. Zheng Lingling anxiously said, how can you not eat dinner? Should I bring it up to you later? No need. Old Lady Zheng waved her hand. On this October night, the stars in the sky were sparse and clear. Mr. Zheng stood on the third-floor terrace, looking up at the sky with his hands behind his back, his eyes showing an indescribable look. The terrace was designed as a sky garden, where Mr. Zheng typically enjoyed sitting in a lounge chair amidst bunches of flaming torches and listening to the opera. Old Lady Zheng walked up to Mr. Zheng and said in as light a tone as possible, what are you thinking about? I was thinking about our Tingting. Mr. Zheng's voice was very calm. Over 30 years have passed. I wonder how Tingting is doing now. Old Lady Zheng reached out and held Mr. Zheng's hand. Tingting must be doing well. Mr. Zheng nodded. Zheng Xianjing came in from outside with a tray. Grandpa, Grandma, it's time to eat. The old couple wiped away their tears at the same time. Zheng Xianjing came over and placed the food on the table. Grandpa, Grandma, you should eat something. How can you not eat anything? Old Lady Zheng nodded. Jinghua Village. After Ni Yang and village chief Li discussed the road construction, Li called for a village meeting the next day. Everyone was very excited after hearing the news. The biggest issue in rural areas is the roads. Bad roads mean that vehicles cannot enter, which hinders development. Moreover, during rainy days the dirt roads would become extremely muddy. This not only inconvenienced the elderly and children, but also leaves everyone covered with mud. Ni Yang funding the road construction could be considered a great deed. Village chief, is this true? The others joined in the discussion as well. Village chief Li laughed. Matzi, look at what you're asking. Would I joke about something like this? This is fantastic. Yang Yang is our village's little lucky star. What do you mean, little lucky star? She's a big lucky star. Village chief Li continued. Everyone, quiet down. The thing is, since Yang Yang is funding this, we can't be inconsiderate. My suggestion is that each household contributes labor if they can, and if they can't, they can provide meals. We can't let Ni Yang bear all the work, labor, and expenses alone. Okay, I have no objections. I don't have any objections either. Village chief Li smiled. Since everyone agrees, then it is settled. Meeting adjourned. The next day, village chief Li brought in a construction team. Everyone with free time at home voluntarily came over to help. During the afternoon, they even took the initiative to bring snacks and tea to the construction team. When the surrounding villages found out that Jinghua village was building a road, they couldn't help but feel envious. Today is the 18th, the day the Shangguan family is coming to the Ni family for a visit and to acknowledge relations. To show their regard for the Shangguan family, and also to properly entertain them. Ni Zihua and Ni Yang moved to their new house a day earlier. Everything in the new house is new, with nothing to move, as long as people move in, that was all. And Ni Qinggui lives next door, which makes sharing meals convenient. Mo Qishan came early in the morning. Today, Ni Qinggui also took a special day off. Chapter 643, Shangguan Furong was slapped _2. Ni Zihua placed the breakfast on the table and said to Ni Yang, Yang, go and invite Grandma Lu over for breakfast. Usually, Grandma Lu lives alone. Today there were a lot of people around, so it would be a chance for her to mingle. All right. An-I Yang nodded. I'll go with you. Mo Chishan stood up to follow An-I Yang. Along the way, Mo Chishan curiously asked, Yang, who is Grandma Lu? Grandma Lu is a very kind old lady. She has no children and lives alone usually. While saying this, An-I Yang seemed to suddenly remember something and raised her wrist. Oh yes, this bracelet was given to me by Grandma Lu. Mo Chishan held An-I Yang's wrist and squinted at the bracelet. This bracelet? What about this bracelet? An-I Yang asked. Mo Chishan said, this bracelet seems to be from the Ming dynasty. Ming dynasty? Although An-I Yang knew this bracelet must be valuable, she never would have thought it was from the Ming dynasty. Mo Chishan nodded slightly. This Grandma Lu must have been born into a wealthy family, right? An-I Yang continued, it is said that Grandma Lu was a landowner's daughter in the past. Later, due to wars, she fled here. As they were talking, they arrived at Grandma Liu's house before long. Wuxia World. Sight Wuxia World. Sight Grandma Lu was feeding ducks in the yard. Grandma Lu. Yang is here. Grandma Lu looked up with a beaming smile. Good day, Grandma Lu. Mo Chishan greeted politely. Although most villagers already knew Mo Chishan, Grandma Lu did not. She rarely went out and had been sick in bed for a while. Who is this young man? Grandma Lu looked at Mo Chishan curiously. An-I Yang said, Grandma Lu, this is my boyfriend, Mo Chishan. Oh, Grandma Lu nodded repeatedly. Very good. The young man is really handsome. How old is he? 28, Mo Chishan answered. 28. Grandma Lu calculated, that's 10 years older than our Yang. It's good to be older. Older people know how to care for others. Where are you from, young man? Grandma Lu, you can just call me Xiaoma. I'm a local from Beijing. Good. Being a local is great. It's convenient to visit your parents' home when you're close by. After chatting with Grandma Lu for a while, An-I Yang explained why they came. Upon hearing this, Grandma Lu said, well then, you two wait for me here. I'll go change my clothes. All right, An-I Yang nodded. In a short while, Grandma Lu had changed her clothes and came out. For today, Grandma Lu had put on a wine-red tang suit that she would only wear during the New Year. Her silver hair was meticulously combed to the back of her head and held tightly with a silver hairpin. Her face may be full of wrinkles, but she carried an aura of a lady from a reputable family. Today is An-I Hui's big day. Grandma Lu can't let her down. That's why she dressed up. Grandma Lu, you look beautiful. An-I Yang walked over and supported Grandma Liu's arm. Grandma Lu grinned and said, not to brag, but I looked even better when I was young. Not only was Grandma Lu beautiful, but she was also very strong. Like the older people in the village, her feet had been bound when she was young. Normally, people with bound feet can't do heavy work. But she did everything. Soon, they arrived at the courtyard of the An-I family. An-I warmly offered Grandma Lu the seat of honor. Grandma Lu declined, already showing me, a lonely old woman, the courtesy of inviting me over, is more than enough respect. How could I sit in the seat of honor? In Chinese etiquette, the seat of honor is usually reserved for the elderly and respected members of the household. Since Grandma Lu was born into a wealthy family, she knew this well. An-I said with a smile, you're our elder, it's appropriate for you to sit in the seat of honor. Apart from Sister Chingay, I don't have any other relatives in the village. I am counting on you and Sister Chingay to support me today. In all these years, no one has said such things to Grandma Lu. Grandma Lu was moved, her grip tightened around An-I Hui's hand. Child, thank you. Thank you both for your kindness to this old woman. Jinghua village was unusually bustling today. There was a crowd gathered on the east side where the road was being repaired. On the west end of the village entrance, a group of elegantly dressed people were walking. They were chatting as they went along, clearly not ordinary villagers. Chapter 644, Shengguan Furong was slapped _3. A stranger in the village always garnered curiosity. Whose relative is this? Such an ostentatious entrance. I have no idea. Maybe they are relatives of Yang Yang's family. Seems like that to me. Looking at the curious villagers, a look of disdain crossed Shangguan Furong's face. Where there is poverty, there are peevish folks. Have they never seen a wealthy person before? Initially, Shangguan Furong had no intention of coming. Still, persuaded by the old lady Shangguan, she came. No matter what, Shangguan Dehui was her brother. She should save him face. Shangguan Furong is not an unreasonable person. But now, she regrets the decision terribly. Wuxia World. Sight Wuxia World. Sight looking at the village's low and humble earth houses, Shangguan Furong's disdain intensified. Which era are we living in that people still inhabit such homes? Does Ni Kuihua's family also live in such houses? And the road is terrible. Cars can't even move on these rugged and potholed surfaces. Wearing high heels is an absolute torture, and it's excruciating. If Zhao Shen hadn't supported her, she would have stumbled countless times. Shangguan Furong, consumed with resentment, extends her hand to Zhao Shen. I'm thirsty. Hey, raise some mineral water. Zhao Shen quickly hands her a bottle from his bag. Shangguan Furong didn't reach out to take it. Zhao Shen asked, puzzled, "What's the matter?" Shangguan Furong replied irritably, "Open it. Are you, dead man?" "Oh, I'll open it for you now." "Shangguan," cries the old lady, "all you know is how to bully Zhao Shen." "Ask Zhao Shen if I bulldoze him," counters Shangguan Furong's. No, my mother, you misunderstand. Furong never bullies me," Zhao Shen responds instantly. The old lady Shangguan shakes her head helplessly. For Furong to marry Zhao Shen in this life, it must have been because she had accumulated a great deal of good karma in her previous life. Who else could tolerate her? The Zhao family are all honest people. Even Shangguan Furong's mother-in-law hardly dares say a harsh word to her. This was Shangguan Zai's first time in the countryside, and her eyebrows and eyes were filled with curiosity. The air in the countryside is so fresh. Wow, is that sugarcane? Shangguan Su knocked Shangguan Shi on the head. That's corn. Shangguan Shi stared at Shangguan Su. So smart of you. I intentionally said sugarcane. I'm old enough. Don't I recognize crops? Shangguan Su shrugged. Yes, you know them all. Of course I recognize them. To prove she really did recognize the crops, Shangguan Shi hugged the old lady Shangguan's arm and pointed at a lush field. Grandma, look at those beautiful little cabbages. The old lady Shangguan laughed and replied, That's canola. Stupid. Shangguan Su flicked Shangguan Zai's forehead. Shangguan Shi moaned, touching her forehead, I didn't get it wrong. Canola is another name for little cabbage. This canola isn't the same as the one we usually eat. It blooms in spring and produces seeds that could be used to extract cooking oil. That's why it's called canola, explained the old lady Shangguan. You kids are really lucky. Not only do you not have to do anything, but now you can't even recognize crops. When I was your age, I had traveled all over the country. Although born in a noble and wealthy family, the old lady Shangguan had lived through a time of war and hardship. Feeling embarrassed, Shangguan Shi toyed with her hair and changed the subject. Dad, when will we finally get to Aunt Daya's place? Soon. Shangguan Dehui replied. When we round the next bend, we'll be there. Oh. In no time, they arrived at the gate of Ni Chenggui's quadrangle. Shangguan Dehui, unaware that Ni Kuihua's family had moved to a new house, knocked on Ni Chenggui's gate. The obvious look of distaste on Shangguan Furong's face as she studied the somewhat old quadrangle was hard to ignore. This house is absolutely deteriorated. No wonder Ni Cuihua is scheming to be with Shangguan Dehui. Most likely, she wants to turn into the proverbial phoenix? What on earth Shang Dehui saw in a woman like Ni Cuihua was beyond Furong's comprehension. Creak. Instead of their gate, the door next to it opened. Ni Cuihua stood at the door. Auntie, Sister Su Lian, Furong, Xiaoshu, Xiaoxi, you all came, come in quickly. Ni Cuihua welcomed everyone inside her house. Chapter 645. Shangguan Furong was slapped _4. Upon entering the courtyard, one could immediately notice the vibrant life within it. The rose-covered wall, the swing beneath the grapevine, and a small, colorful goldfish pond. Although the pond wasn't large, it had a well-designed drainage system with an antique water wheel installed by its side. The ground of the courtyard was not cemented, but carpeted with sturdy grass with a path of pebbles laid into it instead. Clusters of vibrant, multicolored plums were blooming on either side of the path. "It's so beautiful!" Shangguan Shi exclaimed. Even Shangguan Farong was slightly taken aback. She originally thought that she would step into a dirty and messy farmhouse. But what she saw was a miniature version of Jiangnan. Madame Shangguan asked, "Daya, did you have someone design this courtyard?" Not only was the courtyard beautiful, but its layout was also very reasonable. Attention was even given to feng shui considerations. And Ai Tsuehua said, "No, it was Yang Yang who designed it herself." Before Madame Shangguan could respond, Shangguan Farong remarked, "Well, Yang Yang from your family is really talented." She was already singing praises for Ni Yang even before she became part of the Shangguan family. Source: Web novel. Com, updated on Omicron New Omicron, 0 Ni Yang's design? A little village girl like Ni Yang managed to design such a beautiful courtyard? What a ridiculous joke. She mustn't hurt her back making such big claims. And Ai Tsuehua chuckled and responded, "This child has been clever since she was young." This left Shangguan Farong speechless. She had never seen someone as shameless as Ai Tsuehua before. Didn't Ai Tsuehua realize that she was being sarcastic? Ai Tsuehua dared to take it seriously. She even went on about how smart Ni Yang was. Oh my God! Why did such people exist in this world? Madame Shangguan intervened, "It's all due to your good parenting, Daya. Without a good mother to guide and teach, how could there be such an outstanding daughter?" One could tell from Ni Kuihua's behavior and demeanor that she was a very well-bred person. The group then entered the house together. The interior decoration was even more beautiful. The modern minimalist style was embellished with classical elements, perfectly combining a sense of the past and the present. The hand-painted plum blossoms on the wall seemed to be blooming in snow. Ai Tsuehua took the initiative to introduce everyone. Auntie, Sister Su Lian, Farong, brother-in-law, Xiaoxiu, Xiaoxi, let me introduce you. This is Auntie Lu, this is my sister Ni Cheng. Since Ni Yang called the older lady Granny Lu, Ai Tsuehua would have to address her as Auntie Lu to avoid confusion in seniority. Everyone greeted each other warmly. Ni Chingre observed everyone subtly. Madame Shangguan seemed very kind. Su Lian appeared savvy. Shangguan Farong appeared arrogant, as though she might be difficult to get along with. Zhao Shen looked like a pushover, judging by his demeanor. He would probably have no say at home. As for Shangguan Su and Shangguan Shi, the children seemed flawless. They were beautiful and very polite. Overall, the members of the Shangguan family gave Ni Chingre a favorable impression. Just then, Ni Yang and Mo Qishan descended from upstairs. Ai Tsuehua said, "Oh yes, this is Yang Yang's boyfriend, Mo Qishan. You can just call him Xiaoma." Ai Tsuehua cheerfully introduced Mo Qishan to everyone while holding him by the hand. Boyfriend. Ni Yang even had a boyfriend now. Shangguan Su was momentarily stupefied. Mo Qishan respectfully greeted everyone. Everyone's expression became subtly uncomfortable at the sight of Mo Qishan. Mo Qishan, the man with the worst reputation in their high society circle. How did Ni Yang end up with Mo Qishan? Especially Shangguan Farong, her disgust was almost visible in her eyes. If Ni Tsuehua married Shangguan Dehui, then Ni Yang would be considered her half-niece. How could her niece marry such a man? It was one thing for Ni Tsuehua to throw herself at Shangguan Dehui, but Shangguan Farong wouldn't tolerate anyone else tarnishing the reputation of the Shangguan family. Wouldn't she be ridiculed for being related to a wastrel like Mo Qishan by marriage? At that moment, Shangguan Farong was feeling absolutely frustrated. No way. She had to prevent this from happening. Either let Shangguan Dehui and Ni Tsuehua break up, or ensure Ni Yang and Mo Qishan broke up. Ni Yang couldn't be with a man like Mo Qishan. Shangguan Dehui, smiling, extended his hand to shake Mo Qishan's. "Xiaoma, do you remember me? I carried you in my arms when you were a child. Years ago, the Shangguan family and Mo family had some connections, but over time, their relationship faded. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 646. Shangguan Furong was slapped _ 5. Shangguan Dehui respected Ni Yang's views and did not interfere with her feelings, because he knew that Ni Yang was a person with her own thoughts and ideas. Perhaps, Mo Qishan was not as unbearable as he appeared to be. Mo Qishan smiled and said, "Of course, I remember." Looking at Mo Qishan, Grandma Shangguan thought for a long time, and finally said, "Oh, you are the sixth one from the Mo family, right?" Mo Qishan nodded, "That's right, madam." Grandma Shangguan laughed, "I used to play mahjong with your mother, and she often mentioned you." Although Mo Qishan's reputation was not so good, he was handsome, vibrant, especially when standing next to Ni Yang. That was a pleasing sight. Grandma Shangguan had a very good first impression of Mo Qishan. Everyone used to say that the sixth one of the Mo family was a waste of space, but today's impression of him was very different from the rumors. Not only is he high-spirited, but also modest and courteous, gentle as jade, and definitely not useless. If such a person is considered useless, then there probably aren't many normal people in Beijing. Grandma Shangguan had seen countless people and would never misjudge someone. Source: web novel. Com. Updated on Omicron New. And Ni Yang was so outstanding, her judgment of people couldn't be that bad, could it? Shangguan Furong stood up and looked at Mo Qishan. "You are the Mo Qishan who was rejected by Jingrong." Shangguan Furong's aunt, Zhao Yushu, is Jingrong's aunt as well. Zhao Yushu often talked about Mo Qishan in front of the Shangguan family. Mo Qishan was the embodiment of uselessness, a wastrel without any achievements or career. If any girl were to marry him, it would mean she was extremely unlucky. If the Zhao family knew that the person they didn't want was actually picked up by the Shangguan family, what would people think of the Shangguan family? Isn't this ridiculous? Zhao Shen's family and Jingrong also had some family connections. The more Shangguan Furong thought about it, the more her scalp tingled. These words were clearly intended to embarrass Mo Qishan. Mo Qishan was not upset and nodded, yes. He had heard countless sarcastic comments, so if he were to care about each one, he would probably have died of anger by now. It turns out Mo Qishan had such thick skin. He even had the nerve to nod. Did he think he was being honorable? Shangguan Furong smiled, knowing the answer, but still asked, "I'm a very curious person. Why did Jingrong break off the engagement with you?" Grandma Shangguan immediately laughed to smooth things over. "Nowadays, young people are free to love. It's normal that they don't like the old style of arranged marriages. Unlike in our era, where men and women often got married without even having seen each other." At the same time, Grandma Shangguan gave Shangguan Furong a warning look. This child, she was becoming more and more tactless. Aunt Lu agreed, "Big sister, you're right. It wasn't like this during our time." Shangguan Furong still didn't give up, but am still very curious about why. "By any chance, did Jingrong look down on you?" "Furong." Grandma Shangguan frowned slightly. Zhao Shen carefully tugged at Shangguan Furong's sleeve, whispering, "Furong, I think Mom seems angry." Shangguan Furong glared at Zhao Shen. Ni Yang walked over with a smile, curling her arm through Mo Qishan's. "Why bother about the reason? I like Brother Mo, and Brother Mo also likes me," so he broke off the engagement with Zhao Jingrong. Just as Shangguan Furong was about to say something else, Ni Yang interjected, "Aunt Furong, do you know why Xiaoming's grandmother lived to the age of 103? Shangguan Furong asked subconsciously, "Why?" Ni Yang said lightly, "Because Xiaoming's grandmother never interfered with others' affairs. I wish you also a long life." Ni Chengui almost laughed out loud. Even Shangguan, she wanted to applaud Ni Yang. What a great answer. In short life? Shangguan Furong was so angry that she almost passed out on the spot. This Ni Yang was completely ungrateful. Even after she showed her the true face of Mo Qishan, not only did she not show any gratitude, she even insulted her. She was absolutely without any manners. And yet, she couldn't think of any way to rebut this. Brother Emo, let's go to the kitchen and prepare the food. And Yang looked up at Emo Chishin. All right. Emo Chishin nodded. The two of them said goodbye to everyone and headed towards the kitchen. Shangguan Su watched their retreating figures. He seemed to be in a daze. With Yang's conditions, she could have found someone better. Why does it have to be Emo Chishin? If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.